about a new intro to start the year? Welcome back, everybody, to the Boys in the Bay Apple podcast. Us four again. We got Big Dash here because we got to celebrate a big Giants victory. Luca's somewhere into the abyss. Now he's here. But welcome back, everybody. Happy to be with you all in the new year. Shouts to Tony. Shouts to General's Best. But before we get into things here, I promised the guys backstage that I would kind of bring out a surprise a little bit. It is a gift from one of our viewers who's given me a lot of different things lately. He even gave me this little back stage kind of poster in the back. So what the surprise is, I'm going to pull it up. I have my camera off for 2 seconds. All right. I promise I'll shut my mouth after this. But the surprise is this. There's this. But
I can't see it. Show it again. Ooh.
This is the most important thing.
That's sick.
How about a flavor of our own merch?
Oh, you got 2 logos in one.
I got multiple of these. We got our
Bro.
own hoodies, got our own T-shirts, and our own hats.
Oh, shit.
That's
So
a nice
got a
logo,
box full of them. So when bingo time comes around, we can just give out shirts and not gift cards. But gift cards maybe somewhere down the line. But I also got to, next time I see Donald, next time I see John, you're getting one of each. But
Is he in the chat?
as of right now, he's not. But hopefully when he comes in, we could all give him a huge thank you.
Absolutely.
Shout out to,
Hey, it's
Jacob.
Jacob. Thank you.
But definitely. So with that being said, we got a full pack night ahead of us. We got a lot of football to talk about. The Giants, man, first playoff win in 12 years. Speaking of which, thank you, Hayes.
Thank you.
Hey, my guy. My guy. Thank you so much.
Definitely. We'll get some merch out there. But the Giants won. The Jets, on the other hand, are kind of jealous, not going to lie. As Lucas said, but NFL playoffs was very wild this weekend. Got a mixed product out there, but I'm going to shut my mouth for 2 seconds. I'm going to go Donald, Dash, Luca, and John.
First of all, salute to everybody, and salute to everyone in the chat. And second of all, Big Blue Baby! Come on!
It's a fact.
That's it?
I think so. For now.
Anyway, Dash, what's going on, man?
How's everybody doing, man? Everybody's good.
I know the Giants fans are good.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the Jets had it going for a little bit, man, and then kind of fell off. Quarterback injuries and things like that. It tailed off, but you guys have a lot of questions to be answered this offseason, and I'm wondering, what you guys are going to do at that quarterback position. But as far as the New York Giants go, things are very, very bright right now as far as that goes. I'm ready for Philadelphia. I want what do you call it? Not a rematch? Can you even call it what is it called when you face them for a third time? Is it still a rematch?
Question.
I guess.
Trifecta.
But but I'm ready for that. And I was in the spaces, and the Philly fans are already John. So I like it all week. I'm here for all that. And I really think we got a chance to do some damage in Philadelphia, and hopefully it comes true.
Alex, that is sick.
Yeah.
Salute is
That logo is nice.
Thank you, Hayes, once again. But Dash throw the second game out the window. Yeah, I mean, you could also throw the first game out the window. Nobody needs to know about that game. But
Alex, it looks like we've got a new logo for our podcast.
yes, Luca, you want to go ahead?
First of all, shout out to everybody in the chat. I know we haven't been live since our trip in Florida, but we just going to say this: we had hell of a time down there, a lot of fun. Like to thank Hayes for all the gifts, including this one. If you look at it, I don't know if you guys can see what's in the wording, but this is Brian Cashman and Zach Wilson. On the tag of Brian Cashman, it says, "I'm sexy and you know it." And then Zach Wilson, it says, "Hey, Granny, can you handle my 2? You look mighty fine in those deep ends."
Oh boy.
Oh, boy.
So the hell of a gifts by our man Hayes. Just, I mean, that's a lot to take in, but
That is.
Oh,
It's a lot.
yeah.
anyways,
no pun intended.
can't wait to get back to the normal schedule of things with our podcast and stuff. First of all, I want to give congratulations to the Giant fans on their first playoff victory since 2011. We still haven't, us Jet fans, still haven't won a playoff game since, years ago. I'm not even going to go into that, but it's more about Giants right now. Congratulations, guys.
Velociraptors roam the earth and stuff like that.
I have no ill will. As I always say, I have no ill will against the Giants. I don't like them, but I don't hate them. I would root for them in the playoffs, but awesome victory just shows that coaching matters in this league.
Angry John.
Like Lucas said, congrats to the three of you and all the Giants fans in the chat. Big win on Sunday. I got to watch about the second half of it. Yes, thank you, Tony. Thank you, Hayes. Angry John is here. The rants will come in the future. But also, you get yet again, I don't remember the last show I was on, but yeah, the Jets kind of stunk. And I might have predicted them going to the playoffs. Not the very last show, but a few shows ago. So, boy,
you want to apologize for that?
Yes, I'm sorry. I got fooled yet again, just like my childhood, just like my teen years, and looks like the start of my adult life. It's going to be the same. But congrats to you guys. I got a surprise for one of the fans in the chat, so stay tuned for later on for that. But can't wait. First show of the year.
Yes, sir.
Alex, have you got your celebratory drink?
I got water, but I also have my Giants water. So, and I forgot to bring. I had a mini bottle of Captain upstairs. I don't have it with me, but I have water. That's good enough. So, shout outs to us Giant fans. I got to give outside of this. I got to give John some credit. He did predict that Texans win against the Titans. Of course, he did. Why wouldn't you?
I predicted it too. Remember?
You did. All I'm going to say for picks when we get there, of course, it's knit tight. And I know you told me to amend your Giants pick for week 18, but that plays because I didn't amend it yet, but you and Luca are tied.
Oh boy.
So difference.
I amended it well ahead of time. So,
but let's get into this Giants game. For the first time in 12 years, I was in third grade when the Giants won the Super Bowl and when they won a playoff game. I guess we can go first thoughts on the game. I'll start with Dash, then I'll go with Donald, and then the rest of the crew.
Yeah, for me, again, I was confident all week, and then as we got closer and closer to the game, that anxiety started to build up, being anxious about, just a playoffs altogether, and not being there in so long. Well, we had it in 2017, but not really being a solidified, playoff caliber team. And that's, and then once the first quarter happened, they jumped off to an early start on us, going up 7-0. But as soon as we came back and answered, and Saquon Barkley had that big run, I settled down, and then I just enjoyed the rest of the game, man. There were some points in the game where, you're yelling at your TV and things like that. But, man, you know what? I just felt it from jump. I just felt like we had it because Daniel Jones could do no wrong yesterday. He did a heck of a job moving his team up and down the field. And one thing that people cannot say, because some people argue about who wins certain games, Daniel Jones won that game yesterday, and on the biggest stage he did that, and I'm happy about that. But that's the short, brief way. But other than that, man, it's Philadelphia week. It's already Philadelphia week, and you already know how I feel about Philadelphia, so it's been lively already.
I hate them as much as you do. Donald, your first thoughts on the Giants' victory against the Vikings.
Immensely proud of our coaching staff. Mike Kafka was in his bag. Incredible creative play calling. The Statue of Liberty play call was great. Nice use of two running back sets at times. We had a really nice creative way of getting Daniel Jones running on the ground. A lot of plays for him. And so Dable and Kafka were just in their bag with brilliant creative play calling. It was an absolute masterclass of coaching. It really was. That was something that really stood out to me. It was a masterclass in coaching. Another thing was the crossing routes that we ran were absolute perfection, and they were always within Daniel Jones' line of vision, and so it was very simple just to make the right play, and phenomenal blocking from the offensive line. That was the best I've seen our offensive line play this year. But not just that, I think that was probably the best I've seen the Giants offensive line play since our last Super Bowl run. And even when Eli was winning a single-handedly in the playoffs, he was getting his ass kicked because he had no offensive line. This time we had perfect blocking. It was absolutely phenomenal. Andrew Thomas was awesome as usual. We sealed off the edge there, and he always allowed a gap for Saquon to run through, DJ to run through. It was just a masterclass in blocking. And talking about blocking, Kenny Galladay's block. That was a big boy block. That was big balls on the table block.
A pancake.
It was a big daddy block. And that's what we were seeing. We were seeing big daddy blocks. We were seeing Saquon, who's never really been known for his pass blocking. He was getting in on the freaking pass blocking. It was just phenomenal from the blocking. Crossing routes was terrific. Isaiah Hodgins, incredible. What more can you say about this guy? This guy's legit. I mean, he looked like a Manny Toomer out there. First of all, it looked like a Mario Manningham catch where he toe tapped it on the sidelines, but it was also like a Manny Toomer because that's where a Manny Toomer was renowned for as a Giant, as a career lifelong Giant. He was so perfect at the toe tap sideline grabs, and that's what we were seeing from Hodgins. He was just phenomenal. So I was very proud of those guys. I thought Saquon could have ran all day long if they wanted to. But last but not least, Daniel freaking Jones. That was a legendary performance. Now, people are going to ask, is that Eli Manning 2.0? Is that the best that you've seen since Eli? I'm not going to compare him to Eli Manning because Eli Manning is the GOAT. But you know what he is? He's Daniel Jones, and he's made his own legacy, and that is far more meaningful in my opinion. So I don't want to hear any comparisons to Eli Manning. What I'll say is he had the guts that Eli Manning showed in the playoffs, but this was Daniel Jones. He's made his own legacy. He already broke a record for rushing yards as a Giant quarterback in the first freaking half. That is incredible. And then he just balled out 300 yards in the air. 80 yards on the ground. He was just perfection. Even the throws that were incomplete were perfection. The drop from Slayton was a perfect throw. You know what I mean?
It was perfect.
It's just he was just absolute perfection. And another thing that was awesome about him was he put his body on the line on fourth and shorts, third and shorts, these sneaks. One time, I believe Kendrick took his fucking neck off. Remember, he got hit and just
the QB sneak. Yeah,
that was a badass, ballsy play, and that's what it's what he's all about, man. He's willing to put his body on the line for the team. You can see why everyone rallies around him. So he's made his own legacy yesterday, and I'm incredibly proud of him because he's been through so much. He's been written off. He's been written off by the media, by a lot of the fans, and certainly myself. I'm more than happy to take a mea culpa here because I didn't see this. This is freaking legit, man. This is to the point where he was the best quarterback of the entire playoff weekend. To the point where Joe Burrow and Josh Allen's going, damn, that's how good he was. So, salute to Giant Nation. It's been a long. It's been a long one, especially for fans who lived every down of our 2 Super Bowl runs in 07-11. It's been a long wait, so it's especially satisfying for old guys like me to see it. I went absolutely, completely insane when McKinney made that tackle on 4th down to win the game. I lost my shit, completely lost my shit. I almost wish I took a video of it because it would probably be trending right now. But yeah, it was worth it. I'm very, very proud, very, very happy, and much love to all Giant fans that are watching right now.
Luca, if you want to provide your quick thoughts, because you were there as I was, standing right next to me watching the game.
Well, let me just ask the simple question. Who in the hell before this season, there's two questions, thought the Giants were going to, A, go to the playoffs, B, win a playoff game, and who in the hell thought before this season, with the questions surrounding the both of them, that Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley would win a playoff game together? Because new regime, a lot of skepticism towards Daniel Jones, some towards Barkley, a lot of people saying he's injury prone and all these different things. But, I mean, if you watch, to me, like, coaching mattered a ton in this game. Mike, like, a lot of people held Kafka hostage and, held him for skepticism during the season for not opening up the offense. It was majority run heavy. Daniel Jones wasn't relied on a lot. He put up performances that were like, he did enough to win the game. But I think we're seeing now what Daniel Jones really is with, obviously the offensive line is not a finished product. The receivers aren't either. But, with a coordinator who schemes guys open and, gets the most out of guys that aren't even the most talented, that's a win for the quarterback. That's a win for the team. So you got to give credit to Mike Kafka, Brian Dable, everybody on the offensive staff across the board.
Any thoughts, John?
Well, you guys said it because we all talked about it at the beginning of the year with Daniel Jones having a question mark of whether he is the man going forward for the Giants, and I don't think any of us thought he'd ever be this good. He's answered all questions in my book. Over 300 passing yards, 2 TDs, 70 rushing yards. I think that was the fifth Giants playoff quarterback with that. I think it was Collins and Manning, the only two others with 300 passing yards in a playoff game. So congrats to him. Some other minor stuff from the game. I thought they did a great job on Justin Jefferson. He did have his moments, but the Giants, it wasn't just like one man following him the whole game. What they did, they gave him the short play, but they never allowed him to get beat deep, whether it was McKinney. The return of Adoree Jackson helped. Even Darnay Holmes helped out. I thought they did a very good job of taking him out. But again, with Kafka and the offense, I think, this is where the first time where he let loose and he had all the tricks out of the bag. Like Donald said, the Statue of Liberty play, probably the best play of the weekend. If you want to call a Sports Center top 10, that should be one of them. But no, congrats again to your win. Eagles are going to be a tough game, but you are where you are now, so it's all in.
It's a really good point, John. We actually held Jefferson to, I believe, 47 yards, less than 50. If you hold Jefferson to under 100, considering the generational year that he just had, where he had 1,800 yards receiving, if you hold him to under 100, you won. You held him to under 50. That's a big one. Yeah. So, yeah, you're right, man.
He's considered the best in the game.
Yeah.
He only had 4 yards in the second half. 4 yards in the second half.
Wow. Insane.
And they did a good job on their other playmakers too. Dalvin Cook. There was a time or two he'd get free and break loose, but I think in terms of receiving yards for a running back, because they like to throw it to him a lot, they did a really good job of holding him in check. There were a few chunk plays here and there. I don't think the Giants created a turnover, or I don't even think they got a sack yesterday, but they did enough to get off the field when it mattered, and the offense was incredible yesterday.
Yeah, definitely. Just want to go through some comments real quick, and we'll break down a little bit more of the offense shots. You were going to say?
It's like the offense had a near perfect performance because they scored on almost every possession.
How many?
They didn't punt until the third quarter, right?
Yeah, we punted.
How many punts 1 or 2 punts yesterday? Two?
2 punts. 2 punts. It was two punts.
That's great.
I mean, again, that's coaching. That's coaching.
Right.
I think the guy almost fumbled the second. Well, he did fumble the second punt.
Yeah, McLeod knocked into him, and then they just recovered it like this. Hopefully Jason Pinnock is all right, though. The officials never called holding on Tibbs. He was being bear hugged. Yeah, when he was turned backwards, I mean, they were horrible from both sides.
To the quarterback.
He was held and tackled.
Guys, I don't know about you, but some of the referees yesterday, it wasn't even just the Giants game, but I have a saying, and it's, I'm blind, I'm deaf, I want to be a ref. because some of the calls or non-calls are egregious.
That roughing the passer penalty.
Oh my God, man! Like, I don't even know the right words to use.
Joey Bosa went on a rant about the refs, so I'll read that out once we get to our playoff discussion after we talk Giants. But Joey Bosa went to town on the refs. He's probably going to get fined minimum $40,000.
But in the Giants game, it was mind-boggling. I don't know the referees who were officiating yesterday, but they were horrendous.
It's been like that all year, though, too. All around the league, the referees have been
terrible.
I also want to give props to the Giants, the coaching staff, and for all of them maintaining a level-headed, mindset after that roughing the passer penalty. Because most teams do not overcome that.
You're right.
I know I'm not, I'm bringing my team into this. That roughing the passer penalty and John Franklin Myers arguably changed the season because we didn't overcome the adversity. For you guys, it was just, okay, roughing the passer. Was that the same drive as the 4th and 8 Hawkinson pass?
Yes, it was. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. You overcame the adversity. You guys are a very, you guys were very level-headed, and you handled the adversity, and you ended up winning the game. It didn't cost you.
It also pissed Dexter Lawrence off because after that, I feel bad for that center because he was just walking him back after that. Dex is already a beast.
Sexy Dexy.
Man. Don't piss him off, man.
All that sort of stuff. No, Tony. No.
I was also going to make a point about that. I was going to say after, my Giants thing, a lot of people were debating, and they still debate on Twitter, who would you rather lose, Kafka or Wink? To me, I don't want to – if you're a Giant fan, I don't think you want to lose either of them.
No.
Oh, definitely not.
And please tell me which head coach has both of their coordinators up for head coaching jobs.
Nobody.
And it's funny, it's the same team. So the Colts wanted interviews with both of them, Wink and Kafka.
Right.
So some of that is just fishing.
How many teams are interested in Wink?
Texans.
I think it's two.
I think
Arizona, I think, was one of them too.
I got to say, it's because Tony's team shot themselves in the foot. They fired another head coach after one season.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's their own fault.
Well, that's a whole different story. Colts, yep. Shouts to Blue City. Yes, Isaiah Hodgins is an absolute dog for playing 105 yards with a bruised up ankle. I don't know if anyone saw the picture.
It's nasty.
Pretty bad. It's pretty purple. Pretty damn purple. But shouts to Jeffrey. Shouts to some of our new guys in the chat. We'll assess your comments, questions, all that sort of stuff. But Daniel Jones, man, I mean, I've said it multiple times. Shout out to Hayes as well. Like, I remember we were talking earlier in the season, and we're like, I don't know if Daniel Jones is like the guy moving forward more than a few years. But he's reminded us a couple of times, Daniel Jones, and you get him weapons and all this sort of stuff. I mean, he's just been a really more than solid. He's uplifting the talent because Richie James was the lead receiver this year. You don't see him. You don't see him. You don't see Richie James with like a 400 yards on another team starting. I mean, that's personnel issues, but that's also uplifting as well. That's one thing. Well, I mean, he did call roughing the passer. I think that's what he meant. But there's that. Also, how many times we talk about how, like, in the season, like at the beginning of the season, penalties were an issue, whatever that was, right? Let's just say Feliciano holding, whatever. So the first drive, Nick Gates gets a holding penalty. Backs us up 10. And what do? We get out of there. That's not just uplifting the talent, but uplifting your players because of the stupid mistakes they made. I don't know. As I said, on my show today, which is going to come out tomorrow and 12 a.m., Danny is my guy. I've said it before. I've kind of retracted it, but I'm coming back to say Daniel Jones is my quarterback, and I'm ready to move on with him. Even though Luca has talked to me about wanting Daniel Jones, which Jets aren't getting him. The Giants are going to keep him in a uniform. And I said before the season,
hey, I could pray.
I said before the season, I know Brian Dable loves Daniel Jones. I just don't know if Joe Shane does. But you saw the picture in the locker room. Everybody's just on top of Daniel Jones, and they're patting him on the head. He's coming back, and so is Saquon Barkley. I know we've had our mixed thoughts about Saquon Barkley, especially me. I know Dash had some mixed thoughts coming into the season about whether he was a long-term, but lock them both up.
Oh, yeah. I've always been behind locking up Saquon.
Yeah.
I think he's the engine. But 100%, Daniel Jones is my quarterback. Let's get him tied up. Let's tie him down. Let's get this thing done. Let's get this thing moving. Let's continue to build around him. Those two guys, I'm more than happy to say that now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much a done deal. Joe Shane can't move on from Daniel Jones, not after getting your first playoff win. No. And then again, we'll see what happens too. Because I like I said, beginning of the season, I didn't know what to expect. I said, I expected the team to be better than last year. Because I mean, just off coaching alone, I was saying we're in between 6 to 8 wins, and then I predicted 9 wins, and then about halfway through the season, I was like, well, we can go probably 12-5, something crazy like that. And then reality hit, tougher opponents and things like that happened, and you start thinking, okay, well, are we still going to make the playoffs? And then it's like, then you make the playoffs, and you're like, okay, well now, what can Daniel Jones do to solidify himself as a franchise quarterback? Because it was all in his hands. He controls his own destiny. And yesterday was like, if you want to call it a drop in the hat, he dropped a bowling ball in the hat, in my opinion. And so right now for me, it's like, how much is he going to cost? That's the only question that there should be in the whole office. How much is Daniel Jones going to cost, and how are we going to make that first year cap hit less? Like, how much of a bonus is he going to get? How can we get this cap hit down to like $8 million in the first season, just so we can build up the rest of the team? Because we still have a lot to do as far as filling out the rest of this roster. Only 37 players are signed going into next year, and that does not include Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, and we only have 3 wide receivers under contract. That's Wandell, Colin Johnson, and Isaiah Hodgins. So it's a lot of money that got to get spent. And I keep hearing people say, oh, we got so much cap space. Well, if you sign Daniel Jones and you sign Saquon Barkley,
unless also don't forget we have to extend Dexter Lawrence and Andrew Thomas. Those
do it now,
guys. I think those are 4 guys that we build around. If you want to add McKinney, possibly as well, but safety is
got a little bit of time
in place. I would say you got to lock down left tackle. Absolutely lock that down. Get that done. Dexter Lawrence for me is our playmaker in the interior. Give him the bag, and then you got to build around Saquon and DJ. They're the engines of this offense. So that will eat into majority of our cap.
Yeah, I agree with you. Especially with Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence has to be assigned an extension this year, because if he goes out and plays another year like this, his price is going to be ridiculous. And like you said, Andrew Thomas is coming up. I think we have a little bit of, McKinney has 1 more year under contract because he was a 2nd-round pick, so we have him for 4 years. And I thought at the beginning of the season he would be a target for an extension. But now, before the next season starts, but now I'm thinking if we can get a deal done, in mid-season next year for Xavier McKinney, just so we can keep this cap space that we have, or that we think we're going to have now. But it's a lot of moves. This season is exciting, and depending on what happens, I don't know. I put out a video saying we're going all the way to the chip. I think we got a chance to go to the chip, but yeah, man, I think the offseason is going to be just as exciting with all the moves that have to be made.
I'm very excited, and I do have this nice feeling in my gut about this Giant team. There's some comparisons to 2007.
There is
a little bit, just a little bit.
Hey, Don, the only reason why you're not fully committed is because you don't want to jinx yourself.
I don't want to jinx myself, but
because
I was thinking that watching that game, I was like, I'm feeling something special about this team.
But you know what? If you say it and you put it out in the atmosphere, it comes back. So that's why I've been screaming it for the last couple of weeks now. The Giants are going to the chip. We're going to the chip. We're going to run through Philly, then run through San Francisco. And whoever's there in Arizona, the faces is there. And until we lose, I'm going to believe that wholeheartedly.
I believe in this team. I really do.
I would love to get there. But yes, Jacob, I did see that. I thought that was kind of interesting that Dable would look at film of Daniel Jones with Buffalo last year. So, yeah. I did see a comment that said Julian Love. Let's not give Jets fan, because Luca's been bothering me about him lately. He's been like, we want Julian Love. Like, I'm not ready to let him go.
Listen, the Giants have only so much cap space, okay?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
It's gonna be some tough decisions.
Tony, anything is possible. Anything is possible. I'm not saying we will. But
that Brock Purdy Kool-Aid is delicious, I guess.
yeah.
Look at the irrelevant fan trying to make himself relevant.
Is he a 49er fan? Is he?
Texan fan.
No, he's a Texans fan.
Oh, and he's just saying that just to be.
You have absolutely no right to talk about the New York freaking Giants.
I'm not scared of anybody. Shout out to Unpopular.
Unpopular Opinion Sports. We got to meet him at the Colts game, and that was a fun time. Also with Evan, I don't know if he's in the chat, but that was a fun time. If we would lose one, I would prefer Kafka because Dable is experienced play caller and just promote Shea Tierney. Well, I'd like to keep them both. Maybe Daniel Jones takes a discount. We'll see what happens. He'll have 5 teams pay him if they try to move on. Yeah, definitely right about that. All right, fellas, let's be real here. Me being a Steelers fan since Maddox, I've watched the NFL long enough to know where they won't allow Brady to go out unless you're Eli Manning or Big, whatever that says.
He means Big Dick Nick.
Yeah, I think they're talking about Tom Brady. But I have been – Brian did say – before we move on, because I do want to talk about the offensive line a little bit, as you brought up, me and Brian have a mutual agreement that if somehow the NFC Championship is a Bucs-Giants NFC Championship, I'm going to host a watch party, and he's going to be the only Bucs fan there. So just some flavor through. I am rooting for the Bucs tonight. I know the Cowboys are up, but I am rooting for the Bucs.
They missed
tonight.
the extra point.
Of course,
I haven't even checked the score yet.
6-0 Cowboys.
6-0? Okay.
But I'm going to merge my thoughts a little bit with this offensive line and Saquon Barkley. First of all, Saquon Barkley is fresher. I wasn't worried at all when they rested the starters against the Eagles the second time around. He's got fresher legs, and they're using him when they need to, putting more of the responsibility on Daniel Jones, not too much. Because Donald remembers, I was a big critic of Kafka when it came to passing and rushing tendencies earlier in the year. I was a big critic. I'm like, why are you not passing it on early downs? And then a few weeks later, it really started happening in the Commanders game the second time around where they started. It wasn't efficient, but they started passing it a little bit more. And then Minnesota happened, more. Colts game, more. And then this game, Saquon Barkley, he's not getting like 20, 25 carries a game like, I would say a mid-2000s running back would get. But he's still getting reps in the passing game. And when he's running, he's efficient. Luca, what was that stat you keep talking about, that power stat? It's very helpful.
Power success rate?
Yes.
Power success. Giants this year were second in power success rate. If you don't know what that is third or fourth down conversions trying to get a first down with about less than 2 yards. So let me pull up the real definition because this is from my Jets notes as well. Basically, percentage of runs on third and fourth down, 2 or less yards to go that achieved a first down or a touchdown.
So that plays a little bit into it, but he's been used in short situations.
Giants were like 78%. They were second in the league.
Wow.
And
78%. Who was number one?
I can look that up. It's on Football Outsiders.
That's high. 78%. Wow.
Yeah, and our red zone percentage this year was actually pretty good as well.
Yeah.
But so Jones became the first quarterback in NFL history to have 300 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and at least 70 rushing yards in a playoff game. The first quarterback in NFL history.
And that's crazy too. You got guys like Steve Young out there that was super mobile. As far as playoff games, I don't know if Atlanta ever made it to maybe one playoff game with Vic, maybe. But there's a lot of guys out there when you think about Randall Cunningham. It's just that's an amazing stat for him to be the first.
The Giants were 78% ranking second. The Pittsburgh Steelers 79% ranking first.
Okay,
their offense is trash.
But not that. No.
Obviously, that's why you got to look into other stats. But
yeah,
that's why I do like that they're using him on short downs, running the football. I mean, I also love that play, the first touchdown, and then him mulling Dalvin Tomlinson in the end zone. There's that. I also like the way the line played yesterday. Now, I want to get to a separate tiny Evan Neal segment because I do want to fill this stream with positivity. But the line has been playing better over the last few weeks. Not that there are any answers too much, but Bredesen and Gates have been doing fine. I used to be a big Feliciano critic. He's starting to pull his weight a little bit more, especially in that running game. Glowinski's doing okay. Dash, I'll start with you, and I'll go back to Donald.
Yeah, I mean, they're still doing the musical chairs with Bredesen and Gates, and I hated it. I wanted them to, pick a starter, and that starter being Bredesen, and then, go ahead and move Gates back to center because I think he's fully healthy and ready to go. But, Feliciano's been able to hold them off, and, and we're sticking with that rotation. But you do notice, well, actually, it was the reverse because before, whenever Bredesen was in, the offense was moving a little bit better. But even yesterday when Gates was in, the average per yards were higher with Gates in there. In certain personnel, I believe it was like 21 personnel when they were running the 2-back sets. And they ran that a lot yesterday. And I love that too because you keep Saquon Barkley fresh, while you're splitting carries with Breida. And even though he only had 9 total carries in that game, like you said, his presence in the game, I never felt like he was missing, except for maybe that one drive where Daniel Jones was dog tired and they kept on running like the QB counter. And he was so tired at one point, he just laid down in the backfield when there was nothing there. And then Smith was there, and he was just, I'm not dropping my shoulder this time. I'm just going to get down. And I'm like, what are you doing? Saquon Barkley is there. Just if you need somebody to run the ball, give him a break. Give him a break. It was like 4 straight runs, and he was successful. He probably got, like, out of those 78 yards that he had, he probably got 40 yards on that drive alone. And he was dog tired. And I'm like, well, Saquon Barkley is still here. Hey.
Other running backs. He got over 100 scrimmage, though. That's what I love.
Oh, yeah.
He got over 100 scrimmage.
That's one thing about Barkley. It's always going to be all-purpose with Barkley. Always. Because he's a threat. He's just an all-out weapon and a threat. But getting back to the offensive line, and you said it was positive for the interior line because we had some question marks about those guys. And I don't know if you want to bring up Neal now because you said you want to keep it positive. Are we talking about Neal a little bit?
If you want.
Okay. So for Neal, it wasn't his best game, but also wasn't his worst game. He had some plays where, he made some great blocks and then he missed some too. So, and it's the learning curve with the NFL. I'm glad he's getting this experience now, this long season, because coming from college, you only play 12 games, 13 games if you go into the college playoffs, max 14. He has a 17-game season and now you're into the playoffs. Now you're talking about possibly 19, this is going to be the 19th game of the season. So these guys getting that experience now with that playoff intensity, I think it helps. But I need Evan Neal to do just a little bit better. And like I said, I try to hold back because he is a rookie. But at sometimes you're like, man, you're just falling all over the place. But
lunging.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah.
Donald, your thoughts?
In terms of the offensive line, we got tremendous push up front, especially up the middle. In the first quarter, Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones, they had all day right up the middle. I mean, it was like the freedom of Minnesota. And before the game, I didn't think they had anybody that could stop Saquon Barkley. And they didn't. They really didn't. There's no one on their defense, which really scares me apart from Daniil Hunter. That's it. He'll always do his thing, but apart from that, I think it was the worst defense in football, and they showed up. We put up a record yardage, but it's in no small part to our offensive line. I want to pick up on a comment for Blue City Empire Sports. Did anyone see Daniel Jones do it? That's called the Statue of Liberty, and that was a phenomenal play. I think it's definitely a Sports Center.
I wish it was more successful though.
It was so cool. It was just the fact that it happened was so badass because it was perfectly executed as well.
We'll get a yard. Did we get a yard on that?
4 yards.
Got like 4 or 5.
Did we?
Yeah,
okay.
4 yards.
It was more successful than I thought. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, it was just beautiful play calling. But no, I thought that Feliciano was certainly better. Gates was obviously good. Bredesen's been improving at left guard, especially back from injury. Andrew Thomas has been terrific. Glowinski's been awful all year. And Evan Neal, it's a mixed bag with him. It is a mixed bag with him.
It's frustrating.
He's been underwhelming this year. I think we can safely say that underwhelming. But I still think that he's going to be a very solid at right tackle at the NFL level. I think he's going to be
I got
fun.
a question. I got a question for you. Does the later success of Andrew Thomas, because he had a slow start to his first year was bad, does that give Evan Neal that extra leeway?
I think so. I think so. Yeah, I
so.
really do. But I don't think that Evan Neal is as good as Andrew Thomas in terms of ceiling. I don't think he's got the ceiling.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about because like I said, expectations, and because we've seen it happen before where guys had a down season and then comes back. I think everybody's pretty much expecting that next year Evan Neal's going to make this big leap. Not on the Andrew Thomas type level, but just way better than what he's looking right now. And I'm like,
he will with consistent
I think
coaching.
Andrew Thomas helps the situation. Yeah.
I'm very confident of that, and the fact that he did have a decent game at the biggest time was good. Yeah. Like he didn't put Daniel Jones under any real.
And that was a good guy he was going against. It's not like it was a bum that he was going against. He's a Hunter. No. Hunter's good.
Exactly. So as I say, he's one of the best edge rushers in the game, Daniel Hunter, on his day, and Neal Define. So I will say that. I just think the offensive line in general, it was one of their best that I've seen since like 2007. Really, it was that long. It's been a long time since I've seen the whole unit in the playoffs have a great game, and that's what we saw. So I'm very happy about that. But as I say, it was a lot of it was up the middle. And I want to talk about Daniel Jones. Off script, he was terrific as well. It wasn't always play design. He was terrific at pre-diagnosing the schemes at the line of scrimmage. He was audibling at times, and he was taking it himself at times, and he was just always making the right decision. This is something that Daniel Jones has maybe not necessarily been known for until this year, where I think that Brian Daboll has really just worked on him, and he's a really smart quarterback this year, and his decision making is terrific. So I think that's something that we should give him credit for as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people. I saw a lot of Twitter. And Dash knows about them Twitter spaces. But a lot of different people said, oh, Daniel Jones can't do stuff off script. He can't run out of the pocket. Like the last few weeks, you've seen that proven constantly wrong. Mm-hmm. That throw against the Colts where he hit Slade along the sideline. As he's being hit, adjusting to Hodgins, the first game against the Vikings, adjusting to Richie James in the Colts game. Off script, that play to Hodgins down the left sideline that looked like Mario Manningham catch. I mean, this guy, he's improving in multiple facets that people never thought. So I just thought that the whole idea of him not being able to make plays out of the pocket and not being able to read defenses, I thought that was just an absurd, very cold take by Giant fans. But any other offensive points before we move to the defense?
No.
Right. I do like how they mixed Saquon Barkley at the intermediate and in the flat. I think that was a really smart game.
I love that. It's a good point because I was talking to Luca and I said this on Dirting Out Sports Stream yesterday. When there was one check down that Daniel Jones threw to Saquon Barkley and he was stationary. It was just a sit route and Eric Kendricks deflected it. I said to my brother, Luca remembers this. I said, we need to have moving checkdowns. And what happened? There was one play where Saquon Barkley had a 24-yard reception, totally burned Eric Kendricks in the intermediate. And guess what? That was a total option. So adjustments by Mike Kafka.
They made Kendricks look slow. Kendricks looked slow yesterday.
Oh, yes.
And he was a quality. He was a quality linebacker too.
Yeah. Another thing that I loved was Saquon Barkley's hit in order to get that touchdown.
Yes.
That was like Brandon Jacobs. That was a Brandon Jacobs hit. You know what I mean? Like Saquon Barkley channeled his inner Brandon Jacobs with that hit. It's like, boom, this is my touchdown. Like balls on the table. This is big daddy play right now.
I mean, the man can squat 700 pounds, man.
Yeah.
He that's why you don't skip leg day.
No, but again, this is not something that Saquon Barkley's necessarily been known for. You know what I mean? Like he's one of his criticisms last year was that he was afraid of getting hit.
Yep.
Now he's like, "Fucking hit me, motherfucker! I'm gonna score." I'm loving.
He's locked in. That's that's the whole theme. The team, they're locked in, and that whole our way thing that they just put out, and I think it's true. They really believe it, and they bought into it. And seeing Saquon run physical like he did, because it wasn't just the one time he was on the side. He was trying to drop his shoulder a lot. And I haven't seen that a lot since the first couple of games, him being that aggressive. And I'm happy that, and that's what gives me confidence, man. Because right now I think we're getting hot at the right time, and we're also getting healthy at the right time. So, and just think about the teams that we're facing. They happen to be on the decline. Philly might be, they're hurt.
Right. And the one before we move to the defense, the one play that was a good point by both of y'all. When Kenny Galladay had that $72 million block, you see Saquon just on the side of it go doing, and he just reached for the first down. I forget who he crushed, but that was like a really, really good play. But moving to the defense now, I will admit I was a little pissed off yesterday about the approach. But what Rob from Nerding Out Sports reminded me a little bit of two things, really. We didn't cover Hawkinson well, like we didn't cover Mark Andrews well, but we made adjustments in the fourth quarter. And
well, that was kind of one point, but all right.
Well, okay. I'll give you your point. But yes, we made adjustments. I wasn't happy that we got, TJ Hawkinson too much involved. 129 yards. He didn't score, but we kept Justin Jefferson out of it. And I think one of the better points, now, obviously on the stat sheet, if you're an old fan, no sacks. But the quarterback hits were there. After the first drive, first of all, I saw Lee, and I know obviously we talked about Dex. We're going to talk about him now. But Leonard Williams, I thought he had a pretty good game as well. The first drive, I wasn't happy with him because I thought there was a lot of missed tackles in the hole. He was getting there, but he was not making the tackles. But you saw him just inches away from the quarterback the last few drives. And the whole D-line did their job, I must say. I think the defense overall did their job when you expect, like, okay, they're going to put up 27 points or whatever they did. They put up 3 less points. But when you look at the overall stats, I mean, Adoree Jackson held Justin Jefferson to like 37, 47 yards. Xavier McKinney, his presence was felt at a fucking OPI, and he should have had that interception.
I thought that was
a complete bullshit call. But and I just still don't believe that Kirk Cousins like totally dominated our defense. That's just my personal opinion. But opening thoughts on the defense, Dash, and then Donald.
I think Kirk Cousins actually had a good game against the defense, and it ended up being, in my opinion, a shootout. It ended up being a shootout. And like I said, the defense, I was frustrated at the beginning too. One thing about Jihad Ward, and I'll point out Jihad Ward, he is great at setting the edge, but that man is slow. He is slow. And when he gets beat, it's just so noticeable. But again, I just think with his energy and the fire that he brings, you still need that type of guy. And he does make plays. I'm not going to say he doesn't make plays, but you can see, like I said, just not a fast guy. But I was kind of surprised that when we started off with the heavy linebacker set. We didn't see Landon Collins a lot, and it was Jared Davis and Jalen Smith, and then McFadden ended up being a healthy scratch. And you saw, them kind of moving the ball a lot in the interior linebacker play that's been plaguing us all season is something that we have to get fixed. I do like after that first drive where Justin Jefferson did score that touch. I think it was Justin Jefferson that scored that touch. He scored that touchdown. No, who was that scored the touchdown? That first touchdown.
KJ
for the Vikings.
KJ Osborne.
That was Osborne.
KJ.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I got it confused because he did the gritty too, like Justin Jefferson did. But yeah, man, I was just that first drive, they got down there so fast and they scored so fast. I'm like, okay, well, time to strap the helmets on and we got to answer back. But I think that Wink did adjust. I was surprised that he didn't blitz as much as the last time. And I think what the game plan was, in my opinion, was, okay, we know we can try to contain Justin Jefferson. The main thing is if he does get a catch, be there to tackle him. That's the main thing. You have to be there to tackle him. And I think Wink made the conscious decision to let TJ Hawkinson, well, in some plays were broken plays, like that wheel route that he did was just a bad play. But he said, you know what, we're going to stop Justin Jefferson. And then if TJ Hawkinson goes off, let's just make sure that, we're there to tackle him once he catches the ball. And it didn't happen every time, but I think that Wink made that decision that, okay, Justin Jefferson will take away your best player. Dalvin Cook, he's not going to have a good game, or the running back by committee is not going to have a good game. But I'm willing to sacrifice some of this tight end play. And I think that's what happens. Now, I hate to go ahead to the next week because they have a pretty good tight end as well. And Goddard, we have to make an adjustment there because, like I said, AJ Brown is not as good as Justin Jefferson, but he's a different type of animal. And then Devontae Smith is way better than KJ Osborne. So I mean, hopefully we can take some of this stuff to good that happened yesterday. And you know what? Because I sound like I'm bashing the defense. Let me back. When we needed to make a play, they made the play. I'll say that and leave it at that.
Good point. Good point. Donald.
Well, yeah. So obviously, in the initial watch, I was reacting a lot to the soft zone, which clearly wasn't working. But now that I watch it again, I actually have to give the defense some props. So Wink had the strategy of playing the two high safeties, right? And that meant that, well, Adoree was sticking to Jefferson like glue. And whenever Jefferson would get the ball, McKinney would be bang. He'd be right there just to close it out. So that was a good game plan, right? I think that the receivers were generally taken out of the game apart from, well, Thielen, he had about 50 yards here or there. He was kind of a problem in the slot. But apart from that, we were pretty good on the outside. To be honest, the TJ Hawkinson thing, a lot of it is personnel rather than schematic. I don't think there was really a scheme issue necessarily. I think it was a personnel issue. Jamin Davis is terrible. Jalen Smith is an awful linebacker. We don't have any linebackers that can cover tight ends. And that's been a problem for the Giants for a long, long time. So this is nothing new for us. Like, we really need to get an inside linebacker in the worst way. And draft or free agency, that should be our priority more than even a number one receiver, I would say. I really need an inside linebacker, a Mike linebacker, just to kind of shut down these tight ends. So TJ Hawkinson obviously dominated us, but at first I thought, oh no, Wink got it wrong with the soft zone. But you know what? I think a lot of it was actually, personnel rather than schematic. Because Adoree Jackson had a great game. McKinney had a great game. I thought our front. I thought Thibodeau had beat his man pretty comfortably. He was just getting held all the time. Yeah. There's nothing you can do about that. And Dexter, Sexy Dexy, had a great game. He was constantly beating his man up. Constantly. The Vikings have had an issue at center. Bradbury's been hurt, and they've been kind of going with a backup center at times. And it's been kind of a mix and match scenario at center for them. And Sexy Dexy destroyed them. All ends up. And also, I thought Leo had a good game. Now, again, it doesn't show up in the stat sheet, but he got a lot of pressures. And those two guys are a partnership. They're really good together. And so I thought the defense was actually decent. It's just I thought Kirk Cousins had a pretty damn good game, apart from the final drive. Apart from the final drive, I don't quite know what his thinking was, but with that last drive. But what I will say is we ramped up the pressure. We did make a big adjustment in the fourth quarter. They only got 3 points in the fourth quarter. And a lot of it was the difference that Wink Martindale did. He ramped up that pressure in the fourth quarter. We were starting to beat our guy more consistently and get in behind. And Kirk Cousins is half the quarterback when he's on the run. And we did a really good job with that, I thought. He was constantly on the run in the fourth quarter, especially that final drive. The roughing the passer was bullshit, cheating. That was the ref trying to get the Vikings up the field. You'll never convince me otherwise. It was a bullshit call. And we were Dexter Lawrence right after that just kept going to work, though. And the check down to TJ Hawkinson, again, I think that was a really good play call from Wink Martindale because he manned up rather than soft zone. He manned up. And we had McKinney man up on Hawkinson, and that's it. It was game over. I think maybe Kirk Cousins thought that, considering no one was marking him the whole game, that maybe he could just check him down. He was going to get a first down, but no, not that time. So I think that was a smart call. I also want to give a shout out to Cordell Flott. He made an awesome play.
Great play.
He's never been my favorite, but he's been getting better and better as the weeks have been going on. And he's actually becoming quite a decent coverage corner and cover corner. And he did a decent job there when we really desperately needed him to. Is actually one of my highlight plays of the game for me. So I thought the defense was not nearly as bad as it was at the first watch. Once I watched it again, it's actually fairly decent.
You know what? And I do want to mention something real quick because I do have to run. When you said Cordell Flott, I would say that third down, that when he got that pass deflection, that might have been even a bigger play than that McKinney stop, because that ball was right there for Osborne. He was able to knock that one loose. And another thing I would say too, the adjustment that Wink made is it might not be actual adjustment, more that the players stuck to their assignments more, discipline. Because there were some screen plays where Darnay Holmes was able to blow him up in the backfield, and then after that one wheel route that Jared Davis had got caught in the wash, and Hawkinson pretty much, I think he got like 20-something yards on that play. You saw that the linebackers got into their right depth in their zone spots, and I think that helped a lot. And then also you saw that in that fourth quarter or that last drive, McKinney lined up against Hawkinson. He followed him. Yep. And so that was an adjustment too. And listen, I like that. I mean, I know it was, the end of the game because we were in zone pretty much a lot. But once Hawkinson started getting off, he lined them up and he was playing them. He's playing them man to man a little bit. And I like that adjustment, man. I like that adjustment. But Wink, here's the thing. All summer long, but Baltimore fans will talk about, Wink just does not know how to adjust. He sends a blitz. He's going to live and die by the blitz. And you saw in the first playoff game what happened. You didn't see a lot of blitzing. He had a whole new scheme drawn up, and the Giants were successful. So thank you very much, Baltimore. And you see what type of show they're having right now, because they blamed it on Wink last year. They're going to blame it on the OC this year. And we'll see how long Harbaugh survives once Lamar Jackson is gone, because they messed that situation up too. But thank you guys for having me. I do got to run. Anytime, Big Blue, just Alex, let me know, man, and I'll hop on. And like I said, I appreciate your time, fellas.
Appreciate it, Dash, guys. The stuff is in the description. Subscribe and follow his Twitter. Peace, my man. All right, so I gotta fix this little template we got here. Luca, you look like you have something to say.
No, I was going to shout out my boys at Jets Turbulence. I'm not sure if that's Joe or Dan, but our guy Dan will be coming on at 9:30. So shout out to my guys over there, do an excellent job.
All right. I have to quickly use the bathroom. So if you guys want to maybe get into the playoffs a little bit.
Well, the good what's it called? Good segue into that, because the Cowboys have just taken, I think, a 13-0 lead now.
Nothing, because Brett Maher has actually missed both.
He missed another one?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Terrible.
So I think I want to go through each game in chronological order. We've went through the Giant game already. Let's start. It was the Buffalo Bills game on Saturday afternoon. What was I going to say? I didn't expect to be competitive at all. Anybody here agree with me?
I actually got to watch this whole game at work, but it was funny because it looked like at first the Buffalo was going to dominate the hell out of the Dolphins, but then they had some miscues with Josh Allen had a bad pick. Actually, he was part of all three turnovers yesterday, and it's weird because and it's funny actually, because this is why I say, like some people compare Allen to Mahomes, or like say he's the number one. This is why, like, sometimes he has these lapses where, he looks human. And it was a little concerning, I'm not going to lie, but they did end up getting the win. Obviously, he still played fairly well throughout the whole game. Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, another big game for him in the playoffs.
He loves the playoffs.
Oh my God.
He never turns up in the regular season.
But playoff time, he's like Jerry Rice times 10.
Yeah, he is. I saw one of those tweets. It was like Gabe Davis regular season, it was Kenny Golladay. And then Gabe Davis playoffs, he's like Jerry Rice.
No, right. But Miami, for a team that was on their third string quarterback, they fought to the death. I didn't think Skylar Thompson had a really good game, but like, again, he's a 7th round rookie. Like,
what can you expect?
Like, nothing. You can't, and he's the third stringer. Like, the fact that they were that close to the game, like I give them some credit for fighting. But I was very shocked that it was competitive at all.
Yeah, I got to agree with as well. Very shocked. It came down to the wire. Apparently, there's also controversy with the first down at the end of the game. The Bills, I think it was they shouldn't have gotten it, but the refs awarded them to it anyway. Yeah, and some people. It's actually interesting because the Giants game was actually delayed for about 15 minutes because of the ending of the Buffalo-Miami game. So now people are drawing up this theory, which is not, far-fetched, that the refs did it because, we got to speed up the game, all these different things. So before we get into the rest of the games, our buddy Joe says he'll call in if he's currently stuck at work. Joe is actually a officer for the NYPD. So he is currently on the job right now. So when we do our Jets segment, Joe, I will send you the link, and you will join your co-host Dan when we obviously do our Jets segment. But very interesting game. I don't think you leave. Maybe you leave on a sour note. Maybe you don't. If you're a Dolphins fan, is it me or that hit on Skylar Thompson wasn't illegal? Do you guys see the hit on Twitter?
Yeah, I saw it. I think it was a violent hit.
Yeah, but he was in bounds.
So that's why I don't it was a hard hit, but I don't think it was illegal because he's in bounds.
Right.
Again, like a tough one to swallow if you're Miami, you're looking at the hit, but I don't think Milano really did anything wrong.
No.
In that scenario. It's kind of like when I think he was the guy that rocked Mike White back in Buffalo.
Yeah,
it was
went right for his stomach.
Right, but it was a clean hit.
Of course, I understand. He's just that type of hard hitter. So,
for me, I'm not surprised necessarily that it was a tight game because the Buffalo's defense never shows up in the playoffs. And
That's true.
At this point, it's academic at this stage. Like they just never show up in the playoffs. So Josh Allen, he does have a turnover problem, but he is also a wonderful, incredible quarterback. Don't get me wrong; he's obviously in the top four in the game, but he does have a turnover issue. But yeah, I think their defense is underwhelming for me, and I really think I also think that the running game is kind of apart from Josh Allen runs. It's not. They don't really have a running back that particularly scares me. I don't really like Singletary that much. I think they're beatable. I really do. And I would have had Tua been fully healthy and he didn't have his brain just kicked in all year long.
Right.
I would have predicted the Dolphins win that game, and I think they actually would have. Had they had a number one quarterback out there. But the Bills are still going to be very good. I just think that once they come up against the Chiefs, I think they're going to get their blocks taken off, or possibly even the Bengals. But yeah, I'm a little underwhelmed by the Bills. I'm not necessarily surprised they struggled.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, of course. They a lot of people predicted that the Bills would go to the Super Bowl. They'd face off against the 49ers. And to me, that game against the Dolphins showed me they're not Super Bowl contenders. Well, they are, but I don't think they're going to get there. I don't. I think it might just be Kansas City because Cincinnati struggled against Baltimore with Anthony Brown. I don't think it was Anthony Brown at quarterback. It was Tyler Huntley. So I guess there was some fraudulence there. So to me, Kansas City is probably going to come out of the AFC, which some predicted, some may have not predicted. But overall, underwhelming game for the Bills. I think they should have won by a lot more. But Dolphins had that competitive spirit. There were a lot of questions, surprisingly, surrounding Mike McDaniel's job before the end of the season, and he's going to come back for another year. So we'll see about that. We obviously went over the Giants game. Sunday, let me go into Sunday's match. Oh, by the way, we forgot this matchup. This was Saturday.
Jaguars,
Chargers. Jesus, my goodness. How do you blow a 27-point lead?
I'll tell you why. Staley.
Fired.
You
He should
can't
be
coach
fired.
Steely.
Oh, let me because I'm in 100% like agreement with the both of you. The fact that this man, well, is it 28-0, right?
Yes.
27-0. I don't remember.
It was 27-0.
27-0. That they were up by that much. They had an incredible first half. You had Asante Samuel Jr. have 3 picks in a playoff game, which I don't
Right.
know the last person to do that. That might be a good trivia question. But they just were like they just went to play, and they made Trevor Lawrence look like he had his first bad game. But here's why the Chargers lost this game, and obviously it's the coach. But
Of course.
first off, I doesn't make any sense to me. When you're up 27-0, you should be focused on controlling the clock, running the football more. Did it
Right.
seem they barely gave Austin Eckler the football in the second half?
He had only like 7 touches, John.
Right.
He rushed for 7 yards. He rushed 7 times.
They're up 4 scores. What's the point of even, you basically, like, with your play calling, I don't know if he calls the plays or who calls the plays for the Chargers off the top of my head, but it was just awful, man. Like, it's kind of embarrassing too. And the second thing, the undisciplined penalties, especially with Bosa. I understand, it's an emotional game, but you got to be a little more disciplined and smarter than that. And that's all coaching, man. That really is.
So that game, Trevor 4 picks. I mean, that was just remarkable. He had at one point more interceptions than he did completions to his own team. He had as many catches thrown to Asante Samuel as any receiver that he actually had on his team. It was an unbelievable situation. I've never seen anything quite so bad. He was lost. It was like he looked like a dog trying to learn how to drive. Is what he looked like. He honestly had no idea what was going on in front of him. He couldn't read anything ahead of any defensive scheme, and Asante Samuel just kept intercepting everything he threw. Mm-hmm. But there was a key point. So after his 4th pick, it was 24-0.
Yeah.
And the Chargers had a big opportunity to go up 31-0. And Justin Herbert overthrew a receiver open in the end zone. This dude had like 15 feet all to himself in the end zone. And he overthrew him, and they had to settle for a field goal. I felt that could be a turning point. Another turning point was when the Jags finally did get a score towards the end of the half. And the end of the first half, instead of it being a complete whitewash, it was 27-7. And in all intents and purposes, that's still a 3-score game. It's still within, it's within the realms. It was just Trevor 4 picks was so shit that you felt it was insurmountable. But I didn't feel it was insurmountable because the Chargers are ready to implode at any point. This is a team that have terrible coaching. And I just felt that just put a little bit of pressure on them and you'll watch them just completely implode. That's exactly what happened. Their coach just seemed to lose his way. They couldn't seem to get anything done. They only ran Eckler about 6 times.
7.
7. This dude is one of the best, most exciting players in football. And
that's on Joe Lombardi. That's on the offensive coordinator.
How about this?
I think he's got sorry to interrupt, but I think he's got the most touchdowns in the last 2 years of in
the red zone.
He's a monster.
In the red zone.
How about this? And he did this last week. The Chargers had secured the 5th seed, couldn't move up or down. What does he do? He played basically all his starters just about. Mike Williams wasn't ready for this game because he was banged up. All was so avoidable. This is why, when you guys talked about the Giants resting their starter before the playoff game, because it could happen to anyone. Made no sense to play him. And another thing, because Donald mentioned with the missed throw from Herbert there, that they had to settle for the field goal. Why is Herbert not better?
Yeah.
And I'm not
That's
saying
it.
he's a
He
bad
grows.
player, but like, why is he not elite or
Of
up
course.
there yet? Like he's
Yeah.
got the tools to be up there. He's got the size, he's got the accuracy, he's got
Arm strength.
arm strength, like, and he's mobile too for a big guy. But man, like, it's just so and they got players all over the field. Yeah, mind-boggling. I couldn't speak for a sec, but yeah, I mean, you got Herbert. You should have had Mike Williams. You have Eckler.
Yeah, that was stupid. That goes back to week 18 when Brandon Staley decided to go all in and play all of his starters.
Makes no sense.
And Mike Williams and Joey Bosa got hurt. Now, Bosa was healthy for this game, but Mike Williams got hurt in the middle of this game, and that was because of the injury, reappearing.
They have like such a talented roster. Keenan Allen. They have Pro Bowlers on the offensive line. They got Derwin James. Like, they got this should be a team that's like contending.
It's a Super Bowl roster, man. Let's call it what it is. It's a Super Bowl roster. They got the quarterback, they got the receivers, they got the running back, they got the O-line, they got the defense, they got Joey Bosa. The only difference is they've got a horrible, horrible head coach who should have been fired last year for that egregious timeout.
Yes. But how do you even
defensive genius, my ass?
How do you justify bringing him back? What's the argument? Because I haven't seen any Chargers sources saying he's being fired.
No, I haven't seen anything yet either. How can you keep him on the job? How?
You can.
You simply can't. You got to make that
Isn't
search.
it the third biggest playoff meltdown in history?
Yeah, I think it's third highest. Third biggest lead blown.
Okay.
I mean, when you compare the coaches, that's why I had the Jags winning. I thought the Chargers, like, almost right across the board, have far better personnel. Apart from pass rush, I think the Jags have a better pass rush. But basically, in terms of personnel, the Chargers should be taking them to school. They should be taking them to the cleaners. But the difference is coaching. The Jags have an awesome head coach that's won a Super Bowl. And what about that ballsy call when Joey Bosa made the stupid penalty? They go for it on two. Go for two. 4-point game is a 2-point game. Field goal wins them the game. I mean, it's just one coach just had the balls to make the right moves, and the other coach was completely lost and he didn't know what the hell was going on. And he couldn't control Bosa.
We were sitting here shitting on Doug Peterson for going for it on 4th and 7 early on in the game. But he comes out with the victory. And obviously that's coaching. I like Peterson.
I do too.
He's a very good coach. He's done well with Lawrence. And you know what? Here's the funny thing. I'm not dragging my team into this, but, I have to mention this. A lot of people on Twitter, regular season Zach Wilson is better than postseason Trevor Lawrence. I'm like, wait till the game finishes, and what do you know? Trevor Lawrence does a tune-up at halftime and leads his team to victory. And you cannot, and obviously Trevor Lawrence is going to face a tough task in the Chiefs. Chiefs have a solid defense, but listen, give credit to the Jags. They shouldn't have been here in the first place. One can argue, but hell of a job by coaching, players, ETN being a beast. They just have awesome stuff. Awesome stuff.
You're right. I mean, the crazy thing about Lawrence was that, so obviously the first half was probably the worst of any quarterback I've ever seen. Second half, he was actually perfect. Like, his quarterback rating was absolutely perfection. He just threw 4 touchdowns. He was an absolute beast. You have to give him credit. Like, what kind of poise do you have that after being so horrible and every throw you're making is killing your team, how do you suddenly just switch and then become perfection? It takes a lot of inner strength. So you're spot on, Luca. I want to comment on Joey Bosa here. So he's gone public with his opinion on the refs. So this is pretty good.
I saw that earlier on Twitter today.
This is pretty good. The crew officiating the playoff game, he says, I'm sick of those fucking people, Bosa said Sunday. We lost because we fucking blew it in the second half. Pretty simple. He says, I'm sure I have some fines coming my way already. I do really, really want to say some things. I need to be more accountable for my action, obviously, but it's a heated game, and I'm hurting out there. I'm playing on half a leg. I'm getting dragged to the ground. Whatever. Could hurt me along with screwing our team. And yeah, maybe some of them weren't as blatant as I thought, but I don't know. I think there just needs to be more accountability. I mean, if I say something to them, I get a $40,000 fine. But if they blow a call that ruins an entire team's season, they get to, and you know what? They'll probably be in the locker room after the game going like, ha ha, get that asshole. Oh yeah, got him 15 yards. What a loser. He goes, I guarantee it. That's what they're fucking talking in the back. That's whatever fucking power trip they're on. I'm sick of those fucking people.
Is this Joey Bosa?
Or say anything.
But earlier.
Well, how is it fair for me? Who is out there playing my butt off and there's a missed call and I say something and he's going to run up into my face? What grown man in a position? What he's in? Oh, what did you say to me? What did you say to me? Like he's antagonizing me. Oh, he said it. There we go. Got him. It's like, whatever. It's whatever. And I mean, that's badass. That's hilarious. Yeah, so he lost his shit.
To be fair, Hayes, somebody did make a comment, and I don't know if John can attest to this. Someone said that playing Mike Williams and Joey Bosa in that game is a Rex Ryan move. Playing for games that don't matter.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but like I can't remember a time where that cost us compared to that. Like I can sit there and say like for the Chargers, that probably cost you because you didn't have your big play threat. And you know what? Jacksonville has a pretty good. They got a good roster. Like not as good as the Chargers, but like they got some players that can play. Whether it's the linebacker Lloyd, Tyson Campbell's a good corner. Josh Allen, the other Josh Allen, the pass rusher. Yes. That the other what's his face? He made a few big plays. I think it's Roy Robertson Harris.
Roy Robertson Harris, yep.
Yeah, he made a few big plays. And then on offense, you mentioned ETN had like I think it was like running outside the tackle. It was like 8.3 yards per carry.
The Chargers haven't been able to stop the run the last.
They can't stop the run, which was a big draw going into the game. And they got some skill position players, but man, like you think what Jacksonville was before with Urban Meyer, and that they used to just be a joke, but like you see what Doug Peterson's been able to, and you compare that to their side with Staley, it's like one guy brings the whole team up, and the other guy just like ruins it almost.
It's unbelievable. So you guys only touched on this game.
Well, we touched on that in the
Buffalo game.
Dolphins.
Buffalo, yeah.
We've not covered Sunday yet.
And then obviously, like there was the Baltimore game was closer than I thought. But it seems like there's a lot of mixed, unhappy feelings in that Baltimore locker room. Because I think J.K. Dobbins said I would have had more carries and more attention if Lamar was on the field.
Well, that's great news to my ears.
You guys even
the whole woulda, coulda, shoulda. Luca's got a very good saying regarding that.
Regarding what?
These woulda, coulda kind of shit. Like it's
it's ifs and buts. Yeah, if ifs and buts were candies and nuts, it'd be Christmas.
Exactly.
But what was I going to say? There was a point I was bringing up. Did you guys see what Michael Vick said about Lamar Jackson?
I did not.
He said, "Put a boot on it and play."
Oh, that's right. And then Griffin
RG3
then came out and said, "I ruined my career doing that."
Yeah, I mean, that just wasn't a smart comment.
I mean, that's two different situations. But if you want to, I guess we're transitioning into that game. I'm a little surprised that it was closer. I kind of like to Buffalo. I thought the Bengals would kind of destroy Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
But
I just got to put up an update. The Dallas Cowboys have scored their third touchdown of the game. The Buccaneers are absolutely getting mollywopped.
God damn it.
Well, damn it, Brian.
Todd Bowles.
Damn it, Brian.
What's the score? 19?
18-0.
He missed it. Did he miss another one?
No, he hasn't attempted it yet.
Okay.
But Brett Maher sucks, so you could probably say 18-0. But anyways, John, continue.
Again, I was really shocked with the score. I'm not saying the Bengals played a bad game. That's not what I'm out here saying. I'm just saying that I thought that it should be a lot bigger, just because you're facing Huntley instead of Lamar Jackson. And the Ravens, like, they don't really have like this all-world offense, and it just kind of seemed like they were kind of just more physical than Cincinnati, except when that
No shit.
the 90. No, he didn't. Did he really?
Yes. Brett Maher, former Jet.
0 for 3. That's funny.
I think I could have made more kicks than that.
That's funny. But
Raw.
obviously the game-changing play was the 98-yard score for Hubbard.
Yeah.
After the fumble. And again, you expect a little more from Cincinnati, but now obviously they're on to they did win, so kudos to them. But the Lamar situation is really interesting now because it didn't seem major at first, but me and Luke are two sad Jets fans who it's like the hope is rising again.
Yes.
I feel like there's going to be some breakup in that locker room because, like, Marlon Humphrey, I think, is upset.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I mentioned a comment about J.K. Dobbins. I mean, you could see some, like, legitimate breakup. I mean, Harbaugh, they've won one championship under him, but he's been coached since, like, 2007. They would like another one, probably.
Yeah, I mean,
I think his time is up because Greg Roman's not a good play caller. He's not very innovative. So you have that. Michael McDonald, I guess, has done okay. But I think Harbaugh's time is slowly running out, especially if Lamar leaves.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I mean,
any
I
more
kind of
thoughts?
felt for Buffalo considering how underwhelming the Bengals were. I mean, it all changed on a dime with the fumble and trying to reach over the goal line, fumbling it. Hubbard returned 99 yards for a touchdown. Instead of it being a 14-point lead for Baltimore, you probably say game over. Instead, it was a lead for. In the end, it ended up being a win for the Bengals. It all changed in that one play right there. I thought the Bengals were kind of underwhelming, but if there's a way in which you'd look at that as a positive, is the fact that they won playing pretty shit, and they're not going to play that shit again. They're going to be back. I mean, their offense is fantastic, and Joe Burrow is still, an incredible player. So I think they're going to be fine moving forward, but they're very, very fortunate that Lamar Jackson wasn't the quarterback. I think if Lamar was the quarterback, I think they win the game. Bengals.
Yeah, considering how close the game was. And also, I just think, just to quickly tip on that Seattle game, I just don't think Seattle has the horses to run with San Francisco. I mean, San Francisco is they kept it close in the first half, but second half, they don't have the horses to run with them, and that's what that is. If Dallas wins tonight, whatever that means.
Brock Purdy, man. It's the Brock Purdy show. This dude is legit. 300 plus yards passing. The guy's fantastic.
It's incredible. But any more thoughts on the playoff games?
Well, we got one right now, which I could fully watch this one because the Rangers have finally won, and that's a final 3-1. Let's go, my hockey fans in the chat. But not looking good for the Bucks right now. Brady had an egregious pick in the red zone.
Yeah, it was near nobody. I was watching that, and he was like
egregious. What he's doing. But
I thought John was going to say egregious prick. I mean,
well, Brian to me the egregious prick because his team is stinking it up right now.
Yeah, well, I don't think he's going to get rocked. I think the 49ers will still win. But with that being said, I guess we could slide into our picks this week and then move into a transitional period. I'm 5-0 in my picks so far. Donald, I think you're 5-0 as well, right? You're 5-0. John?
I'm 5-0 too. If the Bucks win, I'm 6-0, but it doesn't look like right now. I texted you guys my pick.
I didn't pick the Bucks.
I did.
Someone has 2 losses over the weekend.
Wait. Nope.
Yeah, me.
Right way.
He picked against the Giants. Everybody's got a different view of Luka.
That's it. There we go. No.
Yeah, everybody's got a different view of Luka, but
Yes.
he picked against the Giants, which I told him not to, but it was good anyway. We won. And then he picked the Chargers.
Oh.
So you're 3-2.
Yeah.
You're 3.
That's a killer.
That is a killer. All right.
I'm gonna be 5-1 because Brady and the Bucks suck.
Well, I'd be 6-0. Donald, you pick Tampa Bay or Dallas?
I picked Tampa Bay. I still don't think the game's over, but
No, it's not. But like they look really bad.
The
right
script writers say it's not over.
Oh, here we go with the goddamn
now.
script.
Script writers. How many
Uh-oh.
times did we hear that this weekend?
Hey, what is the script thing? I want to hear Lucas' point. What do you
I
think
have
about this
a
script?
small theory as to why the Chargers game was a bit scripted. And that's not entirely scripted, but how, like, to me, it's not just the Chargers game. There's a lot of these comebacks. Like, it can't possibly be all coaching. Like, you got the Jets game against the Browns. That was one of them. You had the Minnesota game against the Colts. Again, I'm never a guy that says this, but with so many of these comebacks this year, it's like, why is this so repetitive? And it's honestly a 30-0. What was it? 27-0. That's not a good ratings grab. So obviously you have to spark up something. You know, Trevor Lawrence pulling off the upset. That just makes the great ratings.
You see, Luca,
I've only said that once, Tony.
I have.
So are you saying that the officials suddenly come together when it's like 30-0?
I didn't say officials.
Let's get the other team back in the game.
I said the script writers. There had to be something there.
So you
not
say
the
they called
WWE, bro.
the NFL called somebody at halftime and said, this isn't good for our product.
Who the hell wants, especially, you know what? I got to include another point, especially after Wild Card Weekend last year and how much of a disaster it was with the 7th seed.
Bro, it's competitive sports. It's not the WWE. It's not like
Luca,
it's
if you
not
wanna-
pre-written.
Luca, I have the answer to your script writers. So I'm a man of faith. I definitely believe in God. I believe he exists. But I also believe that God is just making this random. He's picking names out of a hat, winner, whatever. Except he always makes sure to pick against the Jets. Because he obviously
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Because
Oh,
the
yeah.
Jets are the Jets. The Jets will always
No,
Jet.
God hates the Jets. And
The
so-
Chargers will always Charger. And I will always ride with that. The Giants will tend to succeed in the playoffs because that's just what they do. And the Bills won't because that's tend to what they do as well. I mean, this is the way it goes. But that ain't nothing to do with script. That's just the way it goes. I don't think it's script. What I will say is I really think it's a game of momentum. It's just like basketball. It's a game of momentum. If you put enough pressure on the other team and make them ask questions and you got your tail up and you play that a little bit harder and you just take it a play at a time. Just like basketball, you take a possession at a time, play at a time. If you play that 5% harder and you hit that 5% harder and you make that right play, then suddenly before you know it, you can start eating into that lead. And it's just like anything, man. It's just like when you make a big comeback in baseball, you just bit at a time. So I don't think it's anything to do with script. It's just what's beautiful about playoff football. So I don't want to diminish that. I mean, that's what we all love about it. It's why it's the best sport in the world. It's why it's the biggest thing. It's the biggest event. It's why we all love it. It's why we can't turn it off because anything can happen at any time. And that's just what the beauty of the National Football League.
Luca, if you want to bring your guys in.
Sure, 1 second. So I got to bring in my guys. Let's start off with Dan from the Jets Turbulence podcast.
I like that.
Thank you. Beautiful.
And I also got to include the other guy from, well, let me just scroll down a little bit. We got Joe, who is calling in from work.
What's up?
Nice.
Go.
Nice job, guys. How you guys doing tonight?
What's happening, boys? Thanks for having us.
No problem.
Thank
No
you,
problem.
guys.
So right now we're doing our pick segment for next week. Obviously, we have yet to see the end of the Bucks Cowboys game, so we're going to get your guys' picks on next week's games. So the remaining next week's, and then we'll dive into our Jets for the offseason and whatnot. So, Alex, start us off with the first game.
We'll go Jaguars Chiefs. Kansas City is 8.5-point favorites.
Chiefs.
Give me the Chiefs.
Kansas City.
Take the over on that.
All right, Kansas
Jaguars.
City. Who's picking the Jaguars?
Joe.
Oh,
Okay. All right.
Yep.
To Luca's point, I think the Jaguars are going to start winning the game around 41-3, and then by the fourth quarter,
Right.
the script writers in Vegas and Saudi Arabia, who have a lot of money invested into this sport, they're going to come back and win the game 54 to. They're going to actually shave off points, and they're going to win 54-14.
We're going to shave off points. Okay. All right. Next game. Well, this is a game me and Donald are hovering around. The Giants at the Eagles, 7.5-point favorites. The Eagles are. I'll let everybody go first.
Give me the Giants.
I'll take the Eagles.
I'm taking the Eagles.
Dan?
The fucking Giants, man. I don't know how anyone can go against the fucking Giants. It's like watching Brady in the Super Bowl. And like you know he's gonna win unless he's playing the Eagles and the Giants. The Giants, man. It's the Giants. They're gonna win the whole thing. I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win.
I love it.
I love the
He's
energy.
my guy.
I'm telling you.
I'll take the Giants.
Wow.
Giants.
So it seems like the two main Jet fans on the panel are taking the Eagles. The two guests Jet fans are taking the Giants. You can't. It's very hard to beat a team 3 times. Let's go Giants. I'm picking
My guy.
again.
My
We're
guy.
going to the NFC Championship.
There is a reason, though. They don't have the tape on this kind of new offense that we're bringing out there. That has been kind of unleashed since the Viking and the Colt game, and this most recent Viking game where they've opened up the playbook. Daniel Jones is a new quarterback. He's just got full confidence. Saquon's hitting harder than I've ever seen him hit.
I understand that.
Yeah, and also
I played much better.
the last time we played the Eagles, it was our third string team. So
I understand that, but the Eagles have a loaded roster.
Yeah,
From
but they
top
don't.
to bottom, they might have one of the best rosters. In
They
football.
don't have the coaching that the Giants have, and that's the difference.
Yeah, I mean they missed their right tackle last time, but they scored 17 points against our third string guys.
Yeah,
Point. It's
that
very
was
hard
Jalen
to-
Hurts out there. That wasn't no backup.
Right.
I'll give 2 scenarios real quickly before we move on to the next game. A, the Giants were swept by the Cowboys in 2007 and then played them in the divisional round. What happened? They won. And then 2020, when the Bucks got swept by the Saints both times, they went to New Orleans and then they beat them. Very hard to beat a team 3 times. I'm picking my Giants. Yes, coaching.
We'll see.
But with that being said, as I like to say, we can't really. Well, I guess if you want to, I'm gonna leave it to the 3:00 game. Bengals at the Jets' rival Bills. Buffalo is 5-point favorites.
That's a good game. Very good game.
Bengals.
I really hate Buffalo, but I think I'm going to pick them.
I'm gonna go Cincy.
I'm
Is there
going to
any
go
bias in
Cincinnati. Cincinnati as well, because
Who's home?
you're telling me that the Dolphins, a shitty ass, sorry ass third freaking string quarterback, gave those guys a run for their money. A team that played the Jets, who we're really familiar with, that they can only score field goals, and they were on the cusp of winning that game. No way Buffalo wins this game. No way.
I don't trust the Bills defense. I never have, especially never in the playoffs. They never show up in the playoffs, their defense. So give me the Bengals. Give me Joe B. Joe B will light them up.
Who's home?
Buffalo.
Buffalo.
All right, I'm changing it to Buffalo.
Not me.
I'm taking Buffalo too. Bills Mafia is going to come out strong. So this game is yet to be determined. It could either be Cowboys Niners or Bucks Niners.
Put me in for
I'm
the
definitely looking Cowboys right now. I'm
me the
taking the
Buccaneers.
Niners either way.
The Niners
Me
either
too.
way.
Me too. Me too.
What's the
Niners
score? What's the score right now?
18-0.
Cowboys.
Bucks are
taking
gonna win.
Niners.
All right,
Yeah,
so-
I'm going for the Buccaneers.
Wow.
Oh, you're talking
for the
about
Bucks.
this game right now?
No, I'm talking about this freaking weekend. The Buccaneers are gonna win this game. 18-0. How many nightmares do we have to relive as Jet fans seeing this son of a bitch? You look, just ask Atlanta. Just ask them in the biggest game.
The game's not over. The game's not over.
That's
The
son of a
game's
bitch.
not over.
I think those 3 missed extra points are going to come and bite them in the ass. I do
Yeah,
think
but
so.
that son of a bitch is
Thank
gonna
you.
be our quarterback next year.
I hope so.
Brady?
Give me Brady any day.
Any day of the week.
Any day.
If they can get it to a 1-score game, I think I think they will win the game because I want to put a little pressure on Dak Prescott because he is very overrated, especially in the biggest moments. He tends to melt down in the biggest moments. So put them under a little bit of pressure, and I think that they can win the game. Unless they completely fall apart in the second half, then they'll be out.
Yeah, I don't trust Dak because Dak rhymes with Zach. So
Yes.
I don't think that's a good
Yep. Very
That's
good.
a bad omen. Very bad omen. Very
Yeah,
bad.
I can pretty much see why. But before I play this video as a transitional part before we get into the Jets, I have to give Tony in the chat. Yes, I believe Joe Cat is I believe he is a cop. Is that
Yeah,
correct,
he's
Joe Cat?
Yeah, I am. I'm here till 1:00 tomorrow afternoon.
Wow,
Nice, man.
God,
that's
thank you for all you
dedication.
do, man,
Thank
for
you.
New York.
Oh,
Thank you.
thanks. No, man, no
Thank you,
problem.
brother. Yeah, yo, man, just shout out to Joe, man. What a freaking stand-up guy, man. I had some car trouble today. That dude was the first one, man. He's going to send everyone out there, man, to help me out. Freaking all the platoons and shit. Dude, thank you, man. Big time. That dudes like that, man, you don't come around that often. Thank you,
we
Joe.
try.
Big time, dude.
We're trying.
Big time, dude.
Great
God,
work.
I don't know, my wife doesn't even talk to me like this.
They never do. They never do.
So I do have to give Tony his new team. Now I'm not going to say the name of the team, but I'll give you the school, Tony. College football team. The name and the mascot you have to look up, but it's for the Rhode Island School of Design. Look that up and come back to the chat. John, you were going to say something?
Alex, I got a little surprise for Tony too because on Twitter he's been asking me to give him a random league to follow and a random team. So while you gave him a college team, I'm going a little off the board into a England soccer team. The league is called National League North. That's the league name. And the irrelevant team you have to follow is the Kidderminster Harriers. I hope I pronounced that right, but
Good.
that's what you get. I was
Take
looking for that. I was looking at the Pillow League fighting.
Whoa! Please dive more into that. I would like to know about this. Now you've come to our segment of the show,
Right.
which
Now you stepped it in.
you stepped in. I mean,
We like
both
to
feet.
ask favorite actresses. That's what
Yes, definitely.
Well, he wanted something
Yes.
really interesting and random, so I was looking at that. I was looking at the eating contest.
Oh yes.
Everything. But
Is that a league?
Oh,
Yeah,
I bet it is.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
I was trying to find something really random, but I'm like, you know what? Let's stick it to a sport where he could actually watch. So I just found the funniest name, the Kidderminster Harriers.
Oh,
That's what
like all I heard from that, like if you just combine all that, is like hairy pussy. That's all I heard. Like like when you read shit backwards when like the letters are all scrambled and then you read the whole paragraph and at the bottom it says Like, if you read this, then you're like the 5% of the world, so that I'm the 5% of the world.
Back, Daniel.
The hairy pussy harriers. There we go.
Yes.
That's
What's that thing that they use? It's like it's pubic hair, kind of like it's a wig. It's a pubic hair wig. You guys heard of this shit, right?
Probably my comb.
No.
They probably wear that
It's a wig.
that lead.
They put it over the freaking the TriStar.
They did that in Team America when they super glued it to the guy's face.
Oh my god!
Right.
Oh,
He's
I
really a
love that
girl.
movie.
He's really a girl.
I love that movie. That movie is I once fucked up a date by having her watch Team America, and she left halfway through. She was so offended.
Oh,
I think I fucked up.
I think it was the mannequin porn scene. The mannequin porn scene. She got up and she walked right out.
I think I fucked up my marriage by asking my wife to grow a bush.
Oh my god,
Hey,
that's
it's exotic,
hysterical.
man. It's exotic.
It is. It is.
God.
It is.
Donald, you might be onto something. If they can't get through that movie, I don't know.
Exactly. It's a test. It's a perfect
I don't know.
test. Let's see. If you can hang with the big boys. Here we go. Here's a test for you.
For breezing the bush. That's a good movie.
My god.
The ultimate test, because you ask a girl to wear a chocolate bandit mask and see if she accepts.
Right.
All you need is Hershey. All you need is Hershey's syrup. You just dip them in there and you just drape them on there, and it looks like a bandit.
Yeah. All you need is a dirty Sanchez jersey. You're good.
So just
That's
a little bit like that.
Hola, amigo.
Right.
Los amigos. That's it. All the pieces of the puzzles are fitting in place.
Just perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. So before we let Donald go, because he has a business meeting in the morning, I'm just gonna pull as a transitional trailer. I'm gonna pull up something. We had a weird experience with a vending machine at the Miami airport because we had 5 hours to spend at the Miami airport when we were down there a few days ago. So here's a weird video of a vending machine being dumb. People think we're gonna be fucking stupid.
I don't think we are stupid.
Should we explain the context of the last time? No. Leave it as a mystery.
I'm not doing the same one. I'm going with the one next to it.
Aw. Still give you your money back.
Almost there. Take two. Sold out.
What?
It says sold out. Okay, let's try A2. Sold out.
They're right there.
A7. I didn't want orange. I just want a Gatorade.
Are they gonna give you your money back now? No vent.
Which means yes.
Give him like 100 quarters.
Oh,
They gave you a 20 ounce of Stugats.
What are you paying in dimes?
Oh my god. It's like a piggy bank.
Exactly. I did want to do Donald a favor and then give him his final thoughts. This is
no. I'm good for now, man. I'm good. Just
All right.
keep walking and rolling. That's a good picture.
Yes, this me in the sunglasses, Donald to the left, a couple of our supporters there. So
Nice.
that was the Colts game we went to where we clinched the playoffs, and I know Luke was very jealous of that.
What are you guys watching the game Saturday?
I'm
Giants
gonna be as far as I know, I'll be watching it here.
Every time that your brother talks, I'm looking at Luca the whole time.
Yeah, right. It's crazy.
Yeah, like my God, this is every girl's dream right here.
But the first time I heard that one.
Yeah, why not? Two of the same guy.
Yes,
man.
very clip worthy.
That's true. There was that waitress in Miami that did say that she liked twins, and then you just went, "Just give me the frickin'."
Yeah, this man was all
not-
business, Mister Freaking
Mr.
Sheila.
Business Alex here.
We were at it.
I asked
I'll
her
tell-
nicely to put the beans on. And
No, you know
What
what?
he did, just give me the beans in the box.
All
huh?
right, all right. I'll add the context before we move on. So we were at this Cuban restaurant. We stayed at a condo in Hollandale Beach for about 5 days, and we went to this really good Cuban restaurant that I had before. Went there, very nice waiter, very personable. So this was towards the end when we were paying the bill, and we were, it's towards the end of our dinner. She's like, "Are you guys twins?" She's like, "Oh, I love twins." And then Alex is like, "Just put the beans in here."
I
Very nice.
You were so hurt. And then when she walked away, I was like, Alex, man.
Yeah,
She
right.
was being quite friendly. She was up for a little bit of chat. And you just went like,
These two guys act like they've never seen each other's weens before. Unbelievable.
sometimes Alex needs a little bit of
Smack him
talking
back.
to. That he's
Yeah, come
a
on.
little
man.
bit of is missing some certain issues.
The same as sharing
Well-
a room, pal.
Well, Donald was also pissed when I accidentally called him a tourist.
Yeah, what the fuck, you asshole. Also, why don't we bring up Prince the waiter?
Oh my god. So
Donald,
we
I'll
went
let you
from
tell that
NFL
story.
picks we went from NFL picks to story time in Florida. I think this is great.
not?
Continue. No, I'm not denying it. I'm just saying keep going.
Donald, why don't you explain that one? Mr. Medium
So-
Rare Wings.
Oh yeah. So we got. Well, first of all, we could have had a. What was the name of the place that we went to?
Go Campers in Fort Lauderdale.
Go Campers in Fort Lauderdale. That's the one. And there was one table that was. There was two tables that was free. One table was a hot waitress that was going to serve us, and the other we didn't get her. We got a dude that looked like Prince,
Yeah, there you go.
like makeup, beard, the
Yeah,
whole thing,
2020.
and the sass.
2020.
The attitude and the sass, like he had the whole thing going.
Oh, yeah. Oh, listen,
And
better than being married.
right? And anyway, he was stupendously bad at his job. Stupendously bad at his job. But he kind of took pride in it, which I almost give him grudging respect for.
Is that
Like-
an Irish brogue you got there?
I think
Where?
He's talking about your accent, Donald.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm half Scottish. That's what it is.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So anyway, he did not like me at all. He hated me. He absolutely hated me, and he basically got everything that I ordered wrong, or just didn't give it to me at all. Like it was incredible. At one point, when it was time to ask for your order, in this busy bar, he stood at the far end of the table, and I was screaming my order at him because he refused to just walk over here and just ask me what I wanted. He was way at the far end of the table, and it was like 8 people at this table. And so I was like, shouting, "I want a burger, cheeseburger." And he's like, "Is that wings?" And I'm like, "No, cheeseburger." He's like, "Do you want large or small?" And I was like, "A large or small cheeseburger?" I was like, "A large, obviously." And then he's like, "So that's medium rare wings." I'm like, "No, cheeseburger." Like, onion rings. Never got my cheeseburger. I never got my onion rings either.
I mean, if you would have just stood up and started doing the Braveheart speech, he would have taken you more.
Oh, that would have been great.
You just
Yeah,
put on
bro.
some makeup.
He
And
was
just
not
let it.
any whatsoever.
Maybe
what
he
you guys look at? What do you remember about that freaking waiter?
So you have Donald. First of all, Donald got his order last out of all 6 of us. I think it was. It was all
Mhm.
6 or 7 of us. He got the order last. So the waiter obviously had something, something against him. And when we came to the building, and he brought over one bill, and I was like, "Hey, can you split the check in half?" He says, "How do you do that? What do you mean?" Which was interesting, and I'm like, well, this side could have a bill, that side can have a bill. He's like, "You know what?" He got frustrated at me. He's like, "You know what? I'll just ask everybody what they ordered." And he got so uptight about it.
Mhm.
So he did that, and then we got our own individual checks, which we later called for. And he's like, I'd prefer you guys use your credit card. You wrap your credit card in the bill, so it makes it a lot easier and more efficient. So he wanted us out of the bar. So
He also upped the gratuity.
yeah, he upped the gratuity as well without us noticing. I mean, we did later.
Charged us for things that we didn't ask for, and he disappeared for an hour. An hour to pay.
Well, let me tell you guys something. I always had like a dream of having a twin, and my dream scenario, as the best prank of all time, would be having a chick in a hotel and just she's ride me whatnot, and all of a sudden I would pass out, and she's like smacking my face, and all of a sudden my twin would walk out and scream out, "What the hell did you do to me? It's a freaking out of body experience. What? How do I get back in there?" And we wink at each other. This is Craigslist. Order is free.
Your dreams, man. This is some interesting dreams you got going on.
Very weird. Very odd.
God.
Tony doesn't want to be a fan of the everything's been rated R, so I might as well just say it. He doesn't want to be a fan of the Rhode Island.
At least it was my team that I chose for him.
Yeah, he's championing on the
the hairy pussies. That's what he.
Oh my god, that's hysterical, dude.
Luca, if you want to, you were saying?
Sorry.
I was gonna say, let's get into it. I'm gonna go with Dan. I'm gonna go with John, and then I'm gonna go with Joe, and then myself. Final thoughts on how the Jets season ended.
For me, it's perfect. It's right where you needed. Number one, you wanted to see what you had at quarterback. We got shit on all three tiers. It was fool's gold with Mike White, but again, we're Jet fans. We were looking at anything for positivity. We got to get a quarterback. Go all out. Get yourself Lamar. Do whatever you need to do. He's on the block. He's going to be on the block, especially after yesterday. You could make your own conclusions and say, he didn't take the trip because of the airplane. It causes inflammation. Yeah, all right. But he knows exactly what he's doing. I think if he had his contract already, he would have been playing yesterday. They already cut ties. Go out, go get him. Get yourself a solid offensive coordinator. Go get your Todd Monken, your Frank Reich, your Ken Wisenhuts. As much as I don't want Darrell Bevel, he has a very good track record. See him as creative offensive line. Get your Bill Callahan quarterback coach. You get your Clint Kubiak. You have to solidify what you have there. The Jets ended the season as shit. As we're used to this now. You're looking at this from a Jets perspective. Many might say, no, you can't trade away 4 first rounders. You can't, no, not the house. You can't, not. Look, number one, it's not our picks. It's not our money. And it's our time. It's our time that we're wasting every time that we watch these shitty ass Jets. Woody Johnson has to bite the bullet. He has to swing for the fences. Get yourself a franchise quarterback. I could care less about 4 first-round picks. The Jets already have their core. They have their draft picks already. They hit it out of the park. Enough with building. You can't build anything if you don't have your main piece. You have no groundwork, nothing. Your groundwork is your franchise quarterback. Go get yourself Lamar. If not, go get Derek Carr.
John.
The season was an absolute letdown. This team started, 7-4 we were, and somehow I remember Donald and Alex saying these are not all winnable games, and yeah, but I can imagine it splitting, and they lost every single game because they are the Jets. They are the worst team in football. They are the biggest embarrassment in football, and have literally ruined another football season for me, for Joe, for Dan. They are garbage. And you know what? At this point, I'm starting to blame myself because I'm the sucker who buys in, and I'm like, if we just do this, that,
Can't buy in, bro.
it's like the same cycle. You know, you get your hope in the offseason, you see how they play. They don't play horrendous at first, and then they just let you down because they're so bad. But like Dan was saying, we really need to figure out that quarterback. Zach Wilson's not the answer. Mike White could be a backup, but he's not he's not the starting answer. And we got to figure out whether it's Carr, whether it's Jackson, whether it's whoever at this point. I don't care if someone, wherever they found him, draft, trade, free agents, like I don't care. Just find him, please, because I don't know how much longer I can take of this.
What about Jimmy G?
No way. No way. Oh, no, don't give me that handicap. Don't give me that.
No
way. Don't give me that guy. Out of here. No way. I'd
Solid
rather
game
go with Zach
manager,
Wilson.
He's pretty much ready to rock and roll. I mean,
He's too injury prone.
yeah.
he can't stay healthy.
If you get him, you have to sign Baker Mayfield. That's what you have to do because you need if you sign him because you know that he's not going to go throughout the whole season.
I'm just
You
saying
need a backup plan.
All right, I'm going to give it to Joe Cat.
I think it was a typical Jet season. Nothing this team did shocked me. Nothing has changed. Just because they started 7-4, they played a bunch of bums, and we all got taken for a ride. They played a bunch of bum quarterbacks. The team also absolutely not. If I ever see Matt Ryan name, that's a travesty. Or the Crimson Chin, Sam Darnold. They have to swing for the fences. I still don't believe that we have a head coach.
I agree.
Yeah, he's not a head coach. So at this point, what I would like to do for the Jets, like I would like to see them do, is I wouldn't trade for Carr. I've been thinking, me and Dan go back and forth on this all the time. Basically, what I first have to start off saying is, who the fuck are we as Jet fans to even question any of these five guys? What gives us the right, as we have never seen any of these quarterbacks play as good as the five guys that are named. Jimmy G, even though he's missed 13 seasons with leg injuries, him on one leg is better than any quarterback we've ever had. So I say to all the Jet fans, watch it. Who the fuck are we to even, sorry for cursing, who the fuck are we for even criticizing? Baker Mayfield, you don't want Baker Mayfield? He came in 2 days and won a game with LA.
Wow, I'm watching the game right now. That's the fourth.
He's missed his fourth extra point.
He must be from France because the Frenchmen, they don't do penalty kicks very well in the World Cup. So
0 for 4.
With the Jets, it's just
How is that possible?
I don't know.
I kind of just want the Jets to get Derek Carr for cash. Wait for that 3 days. And wait for them to cut Carr, because if he's on the roster by February 15th, they have to give him $29 million. I'd wait the 3 days. I'd get Carr for cash, and I'd offer the 13th overall pick for Sean Payton. If you're going to rip off the Band-Aid with the offensive coordinator, I say you rip off the coach, because I'm telling every single Jet fan there will be no difference between Coach Saleh in year 2 that there is to year 3. Our coach cannot call a timeout and completely it's a circus. I like them wearing Mike White shirts because I'm a fan. But do you think Bill Belichick would let these people wear Mike White shirts? Do you think he would let a tight end dress up like a bunny after you just got your ass kicked for 6 games?
Thursday night game when they dressed up as clowns or whatever.
Well, that's the whole thing. There's no accountability. There's no accountability. And they need to get a coach in here that this, I said to Dan too. I said, if I told you 3 years ago as a Jet fan, we're going to hire a first-time head coach, first-time offense coordinator, first-time defense coordinator, and draft the second overall pick who's played nobody in college, you're going to think I'm fucking nuts. But only the Jets do it. And that's the problem. The Jets have to swing big. I think the picks aren't going to help us now. I know people are weirded out about the picks, giving up picks from Lamar. We've never had a franchise quarterback. We don't know what it's like. This is what the big dogs do. We have to play Mahomes, Allen, and all the big dogs for the next decade. So unless we have a small window right now while everybody's on the cheap, I know I'm rambling, but it's time to rip the Band-Aid off and become men. That's what it is. And it's time to act like a real franchise instead of this circus that we watch every year.
Good point.
100% agreed. I'm going to give my thoughts. It was disaster late end of the season, losing 6 in a row with 7 and 10. I'll be honest. Me and John, I think, mutually agree on this. I would have not minded if they fired Robert Saleh either right now or at the last end of the season. To me, I'm pretty much done with him. I know a lot of Jet fans will argue continuity and all these different things. I'm not a fan of Robert Saleh. I gave him a chance in his first season. You know, we justified. Yep, that's who he is. We gave him a chance in the first season because, you know, we justified losing, said, oh, this is the first year. And the one game that stuck out to me, and I went to this game, this was the Bucs game, with the whole debacle, with the whole fourth down call where Zach Wilson, you know, ran the sneak. And, you know, he called a timeout specifically for that play, which really angered me. But what happened after that was Brady went down the field for a touchdown, and Robert Saleh's defense basically just played not to lose. And he does still have that mindset. He doesn't hold players accountable. Joe obviously mentioned the whole shirts thing. Bill Belichick or any other reputable coach is not letting you wear that. I don't think Brian Dable does that. I'm not sucking up to him, but clearly he is holding his guys accountable, and he could, you know, have relationships with his players. He knows how to groom a young quarterback. Robert Saleh did not do himself any favors, even after the passing of Greg Knapp, to hire an inexperienced offensive coordinator when you know your plan was to draft a quarterback. So no experienced coordinators, very young staff, all that. And what pisses me off most about Saleh is the press conference answers when he single-handedly constantly justifies losing. Oh, you know, the Lions were a better team. The Jaguars were a better team. Injuries, all these different things. You know, Breece Hall and Elijah Vera Tucker were superstars. Like, I don't want to get mad at Jeff fans, but you know what? Some of these people have this mindset, you know, continuity. They're ignoring the real flaws of Robert Saleh because whether you like it or not, his job is on the line. But to me, it doesn't make much of a difference if you fire him or not. You got to fire him. You have to fire him, in my opinion. And I'm a guy that says, go out and trade for Sean Payton. I definitely would welcome that, especially that he's going to bring a win now mentality in his experience, and he's going to bring an experienced staff, and he's going to hold guys accountable. So if you told me Robert Saleh should be fired, I would agree with you. I don't believe in this whole continuity thing because Alex and Donald would know. They went through after Tom Coughlin, McAdoo, Shermer, and Judge just to find Brian Dable.
Got to get the guy. That's all it is.
No, you're right.
I don't know what the Jets have this mentality of we need to have everyone gets a 3-year. They're like Oprah giving out 3 years. 3 year, 3 year, 3 year, 3 year for you. Everyone gets 3 years. The Giants did it right, and you can see it in the teams that are in the playoffs, even with the Steelers. The Steelers, the Giants, the Jaguars all have less talent on the roster than the Jets. And they're playing. That's the thing. And it's crazy talk to me that people don't see it. So we'll give Saleh a third. He'll go into another 2-minute warning, not calling a timeout. Nothing will change. Nothing will change until you have a Bill Parcells guy who's going to actually want these guys to get playing. Nobody gives a shit on this team. And you can't tell me all the other Jet fans, too. This is the other thing you see on Twitter. Breece Hall and AVT went down. So 2 people out of a 53-man roster tanks your whole season. That's not a coach. Mm-hmm. And the team didn't have a heartbeat for the last 2 months of the season.
Luca, what's your preferred term for that?
Oh, it's the typical built-in excuses that Robert Saleh loves. Let's also mention that the Jacksonville game and the Seattle game, they were so unprepared on defense. And not a lot of people are going to mention that, but they were so unprepared. None of them were ready to play. You saw on the last, the week of the last game of the season, they were all having fun and all that. You know what? You know what would have been fun? You know what would have been fun if we eliminated the Miami Dolphins and decided to play spoiler? But no, let's have fun instead because we just got eliminated from the playoffs. Why don't you be pissed off? I don't understand that because, you know, this coaching staff says, oh, everything's okay. You know, positive vibes only. Positive vibes only. Get fucking real, please. Get real.
When's the last time that we've seen? I'm sorry, but when's the last time we ever seen Saleh with a play sheet? We don't see that. We see him going back and forth. The only time I see him with any sheet is a freaking hookah menu. Like that's the only time. Like I don't see him doing anything defensively and not taking any kind of risk or looking game planning. He gives it all to Ulbrich. That's it. All right, you do this, you do that. Yo, Parcells was on it, man. Rex had his sheet.
But the
He knew
thing
what
right
was going
now
on.
that I think the Jets should go out and get the quarterback first instead of interviewing these scrubs and interviewing the bottom of the barrel people with people that have no. You see the interviews. Oh, we're going to interview this guy. We're going to interview that guy from Seattle that lost me $5,000 on that Super Bowl. That's who we're going to bring in. The guy who couldn't hand it off to Marshawn. That's who we're going to hire. Watch, we're going to hire that guy.
Well, I'll say this about Salah because you mentioned it, Joe. The time management is horrendous with Salah. I mean, that game against Detroit where he could not stop the clock for some reason, and it was a very winnable game too. Which is the sad part because it feels like all these games are winnable for them, but they just always find a way to lose. His time management's terrible. Alex had the picture while you were talking of the doormat, and I like to compare him to a doormat because he gets walked all over. He holds nobody accountable. He lets everyone commit stupid penalties. And there's a bunch you could point to, whether it's how about Mosley jumping offside in that Buffalo game.
What about Garrett Wilson throwing his hands up?
Right. That was one penalty. The John Franklin Myers roughing the passer,
right.
Special teams penalty. Like it's just a disgrace, man. And
it is.
And it's also Jets mess here with the good comment because I was going to go with this next. I don't know why Joe Douglas gets a pass either. Right now.
He doesn't. He brought in one free agent. DJ Reed. He hasn't hit on any free agent.
No, he hasn't.
So and people want to say, oh, they want to save the picks because Joe Douglas is going to have a miraculous draft just like he had because that's the thing now. Well, you got to draft. We got to keep drafting.
I give him credit for his draft, but
right.
He didn't get the quarterback right. He doesn't look like he is the coach right.
His first draft he didn't get right either.
No, he whiffed on almost every pick so far.
Right. So who did he get? He got Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson in 3 years. And every single free agent they brought in is not worth the gold.
He may have gotten like 4, 5, 6 players in total that have
Maybe we drafted a lineman that can't stop eating.
Yeah, no. What's
true.
Becton?
You guys have Sauce. Sauce is pretty freaking awesome.
No, yeah, Sauce is good, and Garrett Wilson's good, but Garrett Wilson's another one. You got to throw your hands up while your quarterback is struggling. I mean, you're a rookie, dude. That right there, that hand motion to me where he's flipping out on the field, that reminds me of Odell Beckham. That reminds me of receivers that aren't held accountable. And you're a rookie, dude. You've proved nothing in this league. You had 1,000 yards. Great. Do it again next year. But you obviously see your quarterback is struggling, and then you're going to throw your hands up like a bitch. And that right there is an Odell sign right there.
I think Zach Wilson set himself up for that, the way that he took no accountability for anything.
No, of course. That's true.
I'm more mad at that with him not being held accountable. Or I guess he was because he got benched, but when he didn't originally take any accountability in that Patriots loss, that I think he lost the locker room because I don't think they wanted to play for him. And also I don't think he's that good anyway.
Yeah, but this team
mechanics are awful. I've actually never seen a quarterback with worse mechanics.
But this team ruined another quarterback.
That's right. Oh, yeah, I agree. It's a
good day. You got to meet him halfway. It's another quarterback's career destroyed by this team.
Yeah, no. We've never developed anyone.
Right. You can't. The last quarterback we developed was Chad Pennington, who sat behind Vinny Testaverde. That's it. Besides that, we haven't had a quarterback in 54 years. We can't develop a quarterback. And listen, I don't want to hear this whole sad story from Salah. Oh, Greg Knapp died. We couldn't fill the position. It was very hard for us. No, dude. You fucking get a quarterback coach in there. There's not one guy in the 2 years it takes you to get over somebody's death. I got to work tomorrow if it happens. It's enough. You get a quarterback coach in there. This isn't a mastermind offense that nobody can figure out. You can't find one quarterback coach in the entire United States who can help this kid. It's a joke. It's a joke. And Jet fans need to stop supporting this shit. I'm telling you right now, they need to stop buying the jerseys. You need to stop going to the games. You got to hit them in the pocket. You have to. It is what it is.
Alex.
I mean, there's a couple of good points you guys mentioned. I'm obviously not a Zach Wilson guy if I was a Jets fan. I've seen his film. He's terrible. His antics are terrible as well. but you guys make the point very good. It's not like Joe Douglas just got the QB wrong. That's not how it worked. Many of these guys on the team, like C.J. Mosley and Quinnen Williams, those were McCagnon's guys. Quinnen was drafted by McCagnon before he was fired. I'm correct with that, Luca, right?
Yes.
Yes.
C.J. Mosley, all these other different guys. So in the 2020 class, you guys mentioned that's a terrible draft class. But I mean, personally, I'm not in your guys' shoes. I would maybe stick a third year, but if you have an option for a head coach like a Sean Payton, I would go into it. I mean, to be fair, you guys are in a better kind of situation. You've been suffering longer, but you guys are in a better kind of situation than we were last year because if we did still have those same fans. Me and Donald were on the other side of the argument where we wanted Joe Judge fired. Screw the continuity, screw the fact he didn't get his own OC. We wanted him fired, and now we got the decision process right. But the thing is now for the Jets is they've never really gotten that process correct with some coaches and some players. So
Never.
But Alex,
Never.
it's bad continuity. It's not like it's a good process.
no, I know.
Yeah, but
It's
that's
not.
it. Even Quinnen can go. Quinnen can go. We got to get a franchise.
I'm of the
quarterback.
belief that you need to keep looking for a coach until you find the one that is a difference maker. You don't have a difference making coach right now. And that's very much my philosophy. I mean, listen, the Giants went through a ton of coaches after Tom Coughlin, and I was happy to get rid of each and every one of them until I found someone who's as good as Tom Coughlin. And we finally did in Brian Daboll. And that's what needs to happen with the Jets. Like, they need to just keep looking until they find something that someone is a difference maker. There has to be someone in the country of the United States of America that can change the culture, change the trajectory of the New York Jets. And you need to keep looking because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many coaches you go through. When you finally achieve something, now you're the Jets, so you'll never ever win a Super Bowl. But even if you win a playoff game, that is something that would be fantastic for you guys, right? And that's what I'm saying. It's just like it doesn't matter how many coaches you go through. If you find someone that can do that for you, you'll forget about all this bullshit with Robert Saleh and all. Because I've already forgotten about Ben McAdoo and Joe Judge. And
they got to figure it out.
I've already forgotten about them because Brian Daboll is that fucking good, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's the quarterback. Until you find
bring up a great point.
Maker, you have to go through that as well. You have to keep looking until you find a quarterback that can take you to the next level. So
Donald,
Jets
nailed it.
You could sign Q and get a top quarterback. Nobody could tell me that when the Rams and every single other team is over the cap. That's all nonsense. So all these other teams, I'd rather my team, the Jets, go all in, just like the Rams did, and I'll suck for another 50 years. I don't care. Go all in. This is the window because if they don't figure it out, Sauce is gone, Garrett Wilson's gone. That's it. If you were a player, would you want to play it? No.
You have to change the culture. That's the thing. You have to change the culture because if you don't, no one wants to come here. Donald just nailed it. The Giants they didn't care about the outside narrative, continuity. The Giants are the fucking Giants. And I say that because I've seen, as much as I hated the Giants back in the day, I come to the realization that's a greatly run organization. And it's very few that you could see and say that. The Giants, the Packers, and a couple of other ones. And you could count it on one hand. That's it. All the other ones, they're all shit. I mean, shit, yeah, probably the Jets are not going to win a championship like the fucking Knicks. But it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Now, I'm going to throw one thing here. As far as head coach, I'm kind of glad that Jim Harbaugh was asking for $25 million a season because nobody would give it to him. There's only one team that would give it to him. That's probably going to happen next year because if Saleh doesn't pony up, he doesn't do whatever he has to do, he's going to be the actual head coach of the Jets. Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah,
that's a coach.
I'm kind of done with him, though. I'm kind of done with him.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Because
I would take
that's a
him
coach,
off.
man.
He's so much better than any guy we've had in years.
But he still hasn't won anything. The fact that we had Mike McCarthy in the building who won a Super Bowl, who went to the playoffs 12 times, and if you have a Super Bowl record, Jets don't want you. You're too good for us. We had Mike McCarthy in the building, and we hire Adam Gase, who we watched suck in our own division for 3 years.
Believe me, I know.
I think he's different, Joe. Jim Harbaugh is
I
one of
know.
those that
I mean, it's definitely better upgrade, but
when he took
Payton's
over
right there.
2011, when he took over San Francisco in 2011, dude, Alex Smith was trash, man. You put up Alex Smith's 2 seasons next to Zach Wilson, very identical. He was going to be one of the most ultimate busts out there. Then Harbaugh came in and he had a plan. See, that's what it all takes when you have a young quarterback like the Giants did with Danny Jones. What the Niners are doing with even Brock Purdy, someone that was a third stringer, they gave him some sort of importance to train him. See, I firmly believe that if Zach Wilson was drafted by the Niners 2 overall, they would have had an impeccable plan in place. First year, you sit your ass down. You learn from Garoppolo. And if Garoppolo gets injured, you're still not going on there. You're going to do the Mahomes route. You're not playing it down maybe until the end of the season. We'll give you like a couple of drives. Learn the verbiage. Learn how it is to be a professional. Year 2, we're going to ease you in there with a couple of preseason games. That Brock Purdy performance, that would have been Zach Wilson. Because a lot of people are like, oh, why don't we sign Brock Purdy? What is going through your ears and then segues and has a traffic jam in the brain? Brock Purdy could not play quarterback for the Jets. The Jets would ruin him. He would not be Brock Purdy right now. There was no plan in place whatsoever. Franchises that get it understand it, and they understand what kind of potential that they have, just like the Giants did with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, look at
how
Daniel
he's
Jones
balling
under Joe Judge.
Amazing.
He was terrible last year. This year, Brian Dable, he's now freaking elite. So it does a lot of it comes down to coaching.
Danny Jones is in his 4th system, so
yeah,
you know you got to pay the kid, man. It is what it is. That's your franchise quarterback. How he played yesterday, he looked like the white Michael Vick. It's unbelievable.
That was wild. Incredible performance. Absolutely crazy performance.
Crazy. That's coaching right there. And that's the problem. And everyone keeps saying, oh, we're going to run the San Francisco system. San Francisco system, you can hire every person on that coaching staff. Unless you have Kyle Shanahan, you're not running the San Francisco system.
Right.
Is what it is. You got to get the guy to run the system. It's the guy. You have to get the coach.
I firmly believe that Daniel Jones' season changed when Dable lit him up on the sidelines for an intercept.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
That was the game changer right there.
After that, he was a completely different quarterback. Phenomenal quarterback after that.
Changed as soon as
sometimes you got to hold people to account.
Right. And Trevor Lawrence
100%.
changed as soon as they went down the field and won the game against Baltimore. Then the light went on when he made 5 big boy throws and became a quarterback. That's it. Mm-hmm. It's coaching.
100%.
That's all it is, man. And we can't find a coach. That's the problem. You get Sean Payton. Rip the Band-Aid off and you get Sean Payton. I guarantee you this. I can sit back for 3 years and know that this guy's going to put this team together correctly.
Oh, you get Payton. My God. It's a different situation. Different story.
You got to overpay. 13th overall. Take Quinn Williams, whatever the fuck you want. Get me a coach.
110%. So, another thing with the Jets' incompetence, this whole Mike LaFleur situation is puzzling to me because of how the media worded it. I personally think Woody Johnson got involved because the media puts it as Mike LaFleur had interest from other teams and the Jets.
Okay.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, Helen Keller's School for the Blind and Dumb.
So the media obviously putting their spin job on the Mike LaFleur stuff. I think Woody forced a change. Not just LaFleur, obviously the offensive line coach was fired, and so was the defensive coach, the assistant defensive line coach. They originally said he was fired, then now accepted a job somewhere else. So let me ask, I'm going to go around to Dan, Joe, John, and myself for our top candidates for offensive coordinator.
Todd Monken. Give me that guy, because if you can work with Jameson Winston, and that offense looked pretty good, even though the guy threw 28 interceptions.
Isn't that the guy that got hit by the dump truck? Is that the guy that got hit, the quarterback that got hit by the dump truck on the Parkway?
I don't know.
You're talking about Haskins.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. No. I'm talking about Jameis Winston. That guy. He when he played for the Bucs.
Yeah.
Todd Monken was a beast, man. He's creative. He's outside of the box. I mean, everyone's choice is Frank Reich and whatnot. But to me, it's either Todd Monken or Ken Wisenhunt. Somebody outside, someone creative, someone that's going to hold that side of the ball accountable, man. Not. I want an offensive coordinator to put it this way, that Salah's going to look over his shoulder and say, this guy's going to replace me if I don't pony up this season. I'm going to get fired, and this guy's going to be the interim head coach.
All right, I'm going to go to Joe.
Anyone but Bevel. Someone with a heartbeat. Someone that's done it before. No first-timers. Because if they hire another first-time person, I'm cooked. I'm done.
There's no way.
If they don't figure it out with this hire, they're never going to figure it out. That's it. I'm convinced. Your nuts are against the wall here. And if you can't go out and figure out that you need somebody with experience and they're going to hire another first-time guy, they'll never figure it out. There's no hope for this franchise. It just is what it is. Anyone but Bevel, because he owes me $5,000. Can't hand it off to Marshawn. Fucking idiot. And that's who we're going to interview.
Yeah, 100%. That's who we get. 1,000%.
I'll bet. I'll bet you another $5,000. He gets the job. I'll bet that to come back to even. Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you right here and then, Joe. Once we get him, all of us Jet fans, we're going to start doing our due diligence. This fucking cycle, and we're going to be like, no, you know what? He did really good with Brett Favre.
Oh yeah,
Russell Wilson, Adrian Peterson. He did really good. He gave all of his mom's money away to charity.
Yeah, Minshew looked good. He's good.
Minshew looked amazing.
Minshew's great. Yeah, he's good.
Zach?
Yeah, he's great. We'll all talk ourselves into it. Sam Darnold, he's so good. I mean, we just ruined him the first time.
Zach has nice hair.
Yeah, we all talk about it. That's it.
He's good. His mom's cute.
Wait till you hear Jets Twitter. This guy, they're going to post all the great highlights and all the people watch.
Yeah.
This is what they do.
No flaw. No fucking flaw.
Bunch of lunatics.
It's so mind-boggling. John, who's your favorite go-getters for OC?
I do like the option of Todd Monken, but I like Frank Reich is the number one option. The dude won back in 2017 with Philly. And he had some time in Indianapolis. And even though, Indianapolis, I wouldn't say they're a juggernaut over the past few years after the Andrew Luck retirement. He still kept them sort of relevant with like revolving doors of quarterbacks, whether it's Phillip Rivers. I think Jacoby Brissett was there one year. But he's had a lot of experience. He knows what it takes to win. I think he was with the Chargers organization too, a couple years ago. I don't remember if it was a quarterback coach or offensive coordinator.
Both.
It was both. Okay. But again, a veteran guy. I don't think Salah would even question him because, he doesn't even have the experience that Frank Reich has.
Right.
And I think that's we can go into the systems a little more if you want. But I just think they need someone who has the experience and has the veteran leadership and like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to bullshit around. Nothing cute. We're just going to and he has the pedigree to do that. So,
of course.
I think Frank Reich should be your head coach. Better than Salah.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
That'd make too much sense. That would make too much sense there.
This is the Jets.
This is the Jets,
That's the Giants fan talking. The Giants,
Right.
the Giants fans, they have something called logic.
Right.
The Jet fans have fantasies.
Oh, wait till you see
You know
the
what I mean?
quarterback. Wait till you see the quarterback we bring in. You
what?
wait. You
Watch the plethora of highlights on Ryan Tannehill. You watch that.
Wait,
The next coming. Yeah, you'll see it.
Wait till we bring
Yeah.
in Matt Ryan.
No.
Wait till we bring in Matt Ryan. Watch.
Totally.
Yeah, Frank Reich is.
I need Aaron Rodgers.
Ryan Leaf as quarterback coach.
Right. I need
I know.
Aaron
I mean, it's
Rodgers.
just with Salah as head coach and Reich as OC, it would be kind of like if Buck Showalter was like the assistant head coach of the Yankees to
Right.
Aaron Boone.
I need,
This doesn't make any sense. Like, why would your assistant be better at your job than the manager? So,
I need Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady to come to the Jets to take the number 12 from Joe Namath because he's lived through a pandemic, so he's not dying. Yeah, I thought COVID would have got him to break the curse, but I need Aaron Rodgers and I need Tom Brady to take the number 12 from this lunatic who has cursed this franchise.
Or even Chris Godwin. Just give him 12.
Anyone, take the number 12 from this
Please,
lunatic.
burn
Please.
it.
Beast.
Anything.
Luca, if I may have my input here
Yes.
in terms of offensive coordinator. So Pep Hamilton was actually my.
Hold on a second. Don't you dare say Pat Shermer.
I wasn't going there. I wasn't going there. All right. Pep Hamilton was actually my number one candidate for the Giants OC coming into this year, but obviously we got Kafka, and that's a better thing. I think Tony would be familiar in the chat because he's a Texans fan. But Pep Hamilton, Luca he didn't scoff, but he wasn't too fazed by this one. Clint Kubiak, successful.
Can we
offense,
just get the
successful
regular
player.
Kubiak? Why do I have to have a knockoff Kubiak?
No, I agree.
Right. We had the knockoff LaFleur.
Knockoff Kubiak.
We got the knockoff LaFleur. We're getting people on the cheap. Just get
The knockoff Schottenheimer.
It's ridiculous. Clint Kubiak. Give me a break.
It would be the Jets, though.
Yeah,
Make him
no,
mad.
that's a realistic one. We take the son of the guy.
Yes,
Yeah.
but
We're taking
to-
Frank Reich's grandkids next. Fucking joke.
But to be
Joke.
to be fair, I actually see some sort of fit with Pat Shermer and the Jets. I don't know why. I don't think he's getting a job again, but I think I see some sort of fit with Pat Shermer. and the
Luca, it
Jets.
can't get any worse. I mean, really, this is at the point we are. We had inept play calling.
Yes.
I mean,
But-
you could do better.
Could have
And
Jason
you've never
Garrett.
been an offensive coordinator.
Alex, don't say that name, Jason Garrett. You guys cursed him out every game last season. But anyway, Shermer's not like the worst option, but I don't think he's the best, obviously. But again, just avoid Darrell Bevel, avoid Greg Olson. I don't like Olson. The majority of the years that Carr had success was not with him play calling, so I don't think really he'd do much with it. My
I
top
want them
guys.
to be super obvious, though, dude. I want them to just be super obvious. Like, get the offense coordinator, and all the fans can be like, "Oh, dude, they're going after this quarterback."
All right, I understand. I completely understand. So my top guy, Frank Reich, here's my breakdown from I put down a bunch of stats. Experienced play callers had success with a myriad of quarterbacks. Carson Wentz, league average numbers. And Carson Wentz is not really a good quarterback.
He'll be on the Jets.
Phillip Rivers, top offense, top 10 in total yards. Brissett was mediocre, but that's Jacoby Brissett. Andrew Luck revived Andrew Luck's career. So you have that experience of the quarterback. The experience as a quarterback in the NFL could help with Zach Wilson, but again, that's a pipe dream. Scheme fit. He's a West Coast guy. No change in the system. But overall, he's my top guy. Another thing that he does very well, and this is a very underrated stat. I mentioned this earlier when it was pertaining to the Giants. He has usually very good power success rates. If you don't know what that is, power success rate is defined as, let me pull up the definition, percentage of runs on third and fourth down, 2 or less yards to go, that achieved a first down or touchdown. How many times did we not trust Mike LaFleur in third down and shorts? And fourth
No,
down?
he loves being in 3rd and 18. He loves it. That's his favorite position to be in. 3rd and 18 and force a pass.
And I think a lot of people, are taking his Indianapolis. Look, I think there's no perfect OC candidate, but Frank Reich, I think, has the most potential. Obviously, he's been experienced play caller there. He had to deal with a myriad of quarterbacks. The Colts never had an answer at all. So that moving on, my second candidate is Todd Monken. Obviously, Dan just mentioned him. Anyways, 18th in total yards in 2016. Really good passing offense. Even did it with guys like Jameis Winston and Ryan Fitzpatrick. So he's really good, really doing some good things at the college level. Heavily reliant on the best weapons, which is awesome. His system can only flourish with a better quarterback. Number 3, I got Dirk Cutter. I know that's going to be like, but Cutter was very successful in his days in Atlanta. Obviously, this was like 2012, but very successful with Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, Tony Gonzalez. One of the top offenses in the league. You couldn't beat them. He also came back in 2019 to the Atlanta Falcons, top offense in 2019, 2020. They went through a little turmoil because Dan Quinn was fired. He also had success in his first days in Jacksonville with guys like David Garrard and Fred Taylor and Maurice Jones-Drew. So is he most innovative? No, but he's gotten the most out of, really good, talented players.
Luca, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Was he the offense? Was he on the team that blew the lead against the Patriots
That was Shanahan.
as the OC?
Yes.
Okay, then that's fine.
There you go. So number 4 on my list is Alex just mentioned Pep Hamilton. Does really good job of developing quarterbacks. Did so with Andrew Luck, and so with Justin Herbert. Very good. Also very efficient. His scheme relies on power, running with power, and creating those mismatches. Early down completions to extend the run game. How many times did we see running on second and long with Mike LaFleur, or even first down and long?
Oh yeah.
Plenty. So in completions to extend the run game, first down passing percentage 57% with Pep Hamilton. The Texans were more efficient on third down towards the end of the year, and they take shots. So number 5, not the most experienced name, but he does have experience in the college level. This is Brian Johnson, the quarterback coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. No, not the AC/DC guy. His time, exactly. During his time. During his time in Florida, he was actually at Florida in 2020. He oversaw the development of guys like Kyle Trask. He was the FBS passing touchdown leader in his final year of college. Damian Pierce, Kadarius Toney, and Kyle Pitts all were there, and they were the second best offense in the SEC. He also is overseeing the growth of Jalen Hurts. So those are my top 5. So I think we can actually get to the fun game now. This is mock offseason A. So let's get to the cut candidates. So I'm going to open up a new tab.
With me.
Salary cap calculator. So we got it right here.
Dan, this is way more. This is way more professional than our.
I'm trying to get something like this. I have billboards.
Yes. So what do you guys want to start first, guys?
Wow.
You got guys you want to re-sign or guys you want to cut first?
Cut.
All right. Cut them all.
All right. I'm going to mention a name who could be a cut candidate. CJ Mosley.
Cut.
Yeah.
Cut him.
Okay.
Cut him.
We're going to have to cut him post 6/1, June 1st. We'd saved $17 million in cap space.
Yes.
Better late than never. Bye.
Right. We are going to submit.
Goodbye.
Wow,
There we go. We have saved about total existing dead money, about $2 million. So we've upgraded our cap space to about $14 million. Next up, Laken Tomlinson. Yes or no?
No. You can't get out of that contract.
No, you can't get out of that one. That was a tough one.
Joe Douglas, real good.
Thanks, Joe.
Good.
Thanks, Douglas.
Post 6/1 would be only saving $3 million, so it's not really worth it.
No.
So we're going to leave him as is. Carl Lawson.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So with this move, we are saving $15 million. We're going to let the young kids play.
Great Joe Douglas signing again.
I'd rather put that money to Bryce Huff.
Line guru.
Yes.
What a guru.
$29 million. We've saved $15 million. Next up, let's go down. How about John Franklin Myers? I don't think he's likely to be cut, and I'm not sure I'd cut him.
How much did he save?
With John Franklin Myers, you would save about $5 million. That's pre-June 1st. Post-June 1st, that's actually up. Let me see. Post-June 1st, about $6 million. This is dead cap on the top. This is dead cap savings on the bottom.
Cut him. He stunk since we got fleeced on his contract.
Yeah,
he hasn't done shit.
Anybody else agree or disagree?
I mean, he's like okay. He's not good, but not horrendous. Like I don't know. I wouldn't care if you cut him. Like wouldn't. It's nothing to me. Like,
listen, we need space for a quarterback. Okay, so you know what? Yeah. We are going to cut
need space for Tyler Huntley.
No.
Now
don't put it past them.
That's right.
We got to knock off Lamar.
All right.
Right.
This is going to be a very, what do you call it? Unanimous. Corey Davis.
Oh, fine.
Yeah. No.
See you later. Can't
All
catch
right.
the space.
$46 million. I think we could go through a little more. Jordan Whitehead.
Goodbye.
Oh, yeah.
Goodbye.
Later.
All right.
Air Jordan, fly away.
With this move, we save about $7.25 million. So
Beautiful.
he was on the last year. He was on the last year of his contract anyway. So goodbye.
Can
Next
Lamar
up.
Jackson play free safety?
He could play anything.
Fuck. He's going to be playing multiple positions.
We did have a Lamar Jackson before the quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah. Another knockoff Lamar Jackson. We love knockoffs. We're the Canal Street of teams.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Next up, we got Braxton Berrios. Very
Bye.
Get this later.
Bye. Zach Wilson has good shirts. Get the fuck out of here.
Yep.
All right. We save about $5 million. Cap space, $58 million. So let me see if there's any more cut candidates we have left.
Yeah, you got 32 other guys on the roster that can go.
How about
That's right.
I'd like to imagine that Dwayne Brown probably retires, but I don't know how to negotiate. Maybe it's just a cut thing. Let me see. Pre June 1st, you save about $4 million. Post June 1st, you'd save about $9 million.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's out either way.
Yeah.
Retire.
Because you got to figure as well that DeAndre Hopkins is a possibility as well. I mean, you bring Lamar in, and now these other players want to come in. I mean, I know that there might be like some fantasies here, but it could be like that whole Miami Heat shit, where
it's
damn,
Carr. It's going to be Carr and D-Hop.
Luca, there's one candidate who you have not cut yet, who was one of my.
1 second. Let's cut Dwayne Brown. All right. So we are currently $68 million in cap space.
Mm-hmm.
There's Lamar.
All right, John, who are you cutting?
One of the worst punters in the NFL.
Braden Man.
They're shank a game. Get the fuck out of here. You're a scumbag, and I hope you never get a job in the NFL again.
Yep.
Goodbye, Braden Man. Let me see if there's
horrendous.
At cap space, $71 million. Never again. That's if the Jets cut a lot of these players.
We just got better by it. I don't even care how much money we got better when he's not on the roster.
Yep. Addition by subtraction. So I don't see any more cut candidates.
Yeah, that sounds about right. How much money?
$71 million.
You could revamp the entire staff, players, the whole entire roster, saving that money. Get players that can turn this whole entire thing around.
Now that's with the $30 million we already had, right?
Yeah, that's with the cap space of the free agents we already have already. So these were just cut candidates. So let's move on to free agents of ours. Who do we want to re-sign? Yay or nay, Connor McGovern?
No. Get Garode. Get Garode as your center.
All right. Depth move, Dan Feeney.
No.
Yes, great.
Even with the Islanders.
Great mullet.
Anyways, I don't think we want to keep LaMarcus Joyner.
No way.
What about George Fant?
No.
Nope.
I'm done.
Quincy Williams.
Trade for Lamar. Quincy, a first round and a second will get you a franchise quarterback. That money, I could find a defensive tackle, no problem.
No. He's talking about Quincy, his brother.
Oh yeah, no.
You wouldn't sign him? I like his energy.
Sign him.
Yeah, he's good.
Sign him.
He's like a Soul Cycle instructor.
He's also he hits very hard, but he also runs right past the person. He goes straight, and if it's not in his line of sight, he will not hit the person.
Hits the guy on the sidelines.
All right, are we going to now? To me, it's either Quan Alexander or Quincy Williams. Who do you want to re-sign?
Quan.
All right. First, before we get to Quan, do you want to re-sign Sheldon Rankins?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd sign him again.
All right, we're going to press the extend button. Now, how many years do you want this?
Probably 1 year. 1 year deal for him.
All right, now I got to type in the salary.
I would just do all these guys on 1 year because next year the cap's going to be bigger. So you just got to get through you got to get the franchise quarterback and get through this year.
Anyone that's like a glue guy, we got to sign for a year.
All right, so just give me 1 second. I have a spot check page here on my iPad. 1 second. What do you guys think his value is going to be? What would you give him? He's a back. He would probably be maybe a backup.
$1 million.
$1 million. So just give me 1 second here. We are going to do this. Hold on. I don't know why there's a 0 in front of it, but
Put it in front of the 0, maybe.
Are you kidding me? Somebody called him the Vanilla Vic. I just said that shit 5 minutes ago. Bullshit.
there you go. You're going to re-sign Sheldon Rankins. Any signing bonus or void years?
No, that's out of my league, pal.
All right. So we're going to transact that. Sheldon Rankins is back. Quan Alexander. 1 year, I guess.
For a year.
Yes.
All right. So this would, I guess they're using this as value $1.165 million. Would you guys sign him to that number?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fine for Quan. I can't imagine he commands big money anyway.
Nate Erbig.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So how much would you guys give him?
$1 million.
$1 million.
All right. Just going to type this in real quick. We'll leave this here. 1.08 million transaction.
$1
With
million
that-
and a keto meal plan.
Yes. Let's go through this real quick. Solomon Thomas. I
No.
think we can
No.
pass.
Ugh.
No. I hate Joe Flacco. So
No Flacco.
Nathan Shepard.
He's
That
decent
one's-
against the run.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind bringing him back.
I'll bring him back as a bouncer.
All right. So how much are we bringing back Shepard on? Let's go 985.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Yep. You read my mind.
Good depth piece.
Transact. All right. So let's check out our cap space. We are at 70 million. We barely wasted any.
Good.
All right. LDT, James Robinson, Vinny Curry. I think we got one eye on our guy, Bryce Huff.
Yes, Bryce.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first guy you signed.
Yep.
Now, how many years? I'm going to say 3 or 4.
Three
No.
years.
He's a restricted free agent, so you can give him a cheap contract this year.
Right. I would give him a
We can
I'd
place
give
a
him
tender
2 year.
on him.
2 years.
Yeah. First rounder on him, right?
All right,
Can
that's
we or
about-
no?
First round tender is about $6 million.
Yep. Do it.
I would do
Shit.
that.
I would just a side note, if we're getting rid of Quinn Williams, I would slide over Michael Clemens and have Bryce Huff play and get more snaps. The fact that Bryce Huff doesn't get enough snaps is criminal.
Thank you. I religiously say that on here every week.
Yep.
All right, Greg the Leg.
Yes.
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 You pay $20 million.
Each leg.
He's the only one. He's our only offense this whole year.
All right, so just give me 1 second here. I'm going to.
Long-term extension for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was the best kicker we had since Jason Myers.
Yeah.
Right.
Y'all
And
let him
that's
go.
saying. So just give me 1 second here. I'm gonna look up Zerline's. Last year, Zerline took in about 2.7 million. So I'm gonna think he's gonna do the same.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
3 million.
Yep.
All right, Greg Zerline is back. Any more? Mike White.
I would
No.
bring him back as a backup in case you don't
No.
have an option.
I don't
No,
want him back.
I wouldn't
I don't
bring
want him
up.
back.
I don't want him back because you're gonna have to pay him $15 million. And
No, not at 15 mil. I'm saying
Well-
his back money.
No, because we're already paying Zach. We're already on the hook for Zach for $20 million. That's why I don't think they're gonna move Zach or trade him because it's $20 million cap hit, and you can't be investing. If you're going after Lamar, you can't be investing $80 million
All
into your
right,
quarterback
that's
room.
fair. Sorry, Mike White.
All right, so
He's gonna
assigned-
flourish someplace else.
Yep. It would be typical Jets. We've signed all our free agents except external guys. Who was the first guy on the list? The
Quinnen?
first position.
Oh,
Lamar?
Quarterback.
Lamar.
Quarterback.
All right. How much money are you guys giving him?
Whatever you
50
want.
million,
40.
50 million a year.
2 Brinks trucks.
4 years?
are we sold that he would be the better fit than Derek Carr? Is that an agreement?
Derek
Well-
Carr will get us to the playoffs. He'll get us a wild card win.
Mm-hmm.
But Lamar Jackson gives us the upper leg against the Bills, Mahomes, Herbert, and Trevor Lawrence.
All right. So I'm just
Right. like piggybacking off of that, right? Like with Derek Carr. Derek Carr needs the perfect offensive coordinator.
Because
Like with Lamar Jackson, he can outweigh like any negatives of the offensive coordinator.
he's so athletic. Is that
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Lamar, Derek Carr's like an F-150, and Lamar Jackson's like a Ferrari.
Right.
Okay. I can get behind that.
All right, so Lamar, per SpotTrack.com, Lamar should average about $40.7 million per year. So you guys want to go 45? You guys want to go 40?
I think he wants a 5-year deal. Anyway, I think that's what some of the reports were saying during the year. I could be wrong, but
I'll give him 5 years. 5
All right,
years.
yeah.
He'll
Whatever you want.
break his leg in 3, and
Let's go 45 million.
there you go.
Right.
Fully guaranteed.
Fully guaranteed.
Fully. And I'm telling you right now, I know Joe disagrees with me on this one. If you get Lamar, Becton is going to be an All-Pro. That's his boy, man, from Louisville.
Didn't you see our update on Twitter today about Mekhi? He was spotted in
No.
Jersey. Yeah, he was spotted in Jersey at a 7-Eleven buying a Big Gulp and 7 packages of 2 for $3 taquitos.
He's celebrating. He's celebrating.
Yeah, I posted it on Twitter. He's down 30 pounds in 2 years. It's great.
He was eating with Greg Roman out in Teterboro.
Yes.
They spotted him in
Greg
Teterboro.
Roman's family. Yeah, because Greg Roman's family lives in Teterboro. So
right. They have cousins by JFK.
bunch of dumbass Jet fans. Oh my
they
God!
spotted
Greg
him.
Roman. Greg Roman came into Jersey. Well, his mom lives 10 minutes away.
Anyways,
Meanwhile-
we've signed Lamar Jackson.
Meanwhile,
$45 million.
Luca was weirded out when one of our Giant fans in the comments a few weeks ago said that Becton is a hippo.
Oh yeah, dude. Becton is just a Madden creative player at this point. Like
playing quarterback.
I hate when Jet fans put like their whole stock, like Dan just did in Mekhi Becton. The man, they are going to remove the vending machines from Flowen Park.
All
We
right.
have drafted an offensive line who can't stop eating. Can you imagine?
All right. So we've got all of free.
He's a frequent at Golden Corral.
Yes.
Yes. Now, let me say this. So we are down to about $18 million in cap. What position do you want to address before the draft? Because you need about $9 million to sign draft class.
are we able to re-sign Quinnen?
This is a tough one.
That's
a tough one.
That's 31-6 to the Cowboys with 6 minutes to go. With game over.
Yeah, but you got to also remember these are just raw numbers. So somebody's going to restructure that contract.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
So-
you got to take a bunch of restructures. It's probably going to be about 9 people are going to restructure their contract as a team friendly.
Because I can't see the Jets in a scenario where they let him walk.
No, he's going to be wearing a purple jersey next year when they want 2 1s. We give him 1-1, Quinnen Williams. We don't have to pay that guy. Listen, I'm all for paying Quinnen Williams, but for him to ask for Donald money, he's asking for money that's Aaron Donald is making $9 million more than him, and Aaron Donald has 103 sacks and he has 27. So, and in the first 4 years, Aaron Donald had 39 sacks and he has 27. Up until this year, he's never had double digits.
No, I agree. He's not Aaron Donald, but he was arguably our second best defensive player this year.
No, I get that, but for me, I would just let him play on the 5th year. If he's already talking about holding out, trade him. He's not for the team here.
So then we'll hold off on that and agree with the 5th year option at least.
Right. Yeah.
I'll take this opportunity to sign off. It's good night, everybody.
Have
Dude,
fun,
nice
guys.
meeting you. Thanks for having us on, man.
Have
No,
fun.
no problem at all. It's been a pleasure. Follow me on Twitter, and
I will.
Speaking. Yeah, awesome. Right.
Go Giants, baby.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Absolutely.
Not gonna. All right. So do you guys think we should sign one more free agent, outside free agent?
DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes.
Go get a wideout.
Oh no, he's not a free agent. I'm sorry. You got to trade.
Trade for him. You got to trade for him.
Yeah. Free agent. Von Bell.
Great.
Safety.
Yep.
Safety. So I'm actually going to look up his value, his projected value according
How much cap space do we have?
18 million. You need about 9 million to sign. So
because we could use maybe either a wideout or someone in a safety. We can go any fucking route.
Jacoby Myers, actually.
Yes,
Jacoby Myers.
We need a
yeah, you nailed it, man. It's that bet that you got going on.
I told you. You know, the Jets are going right. The guy that passed it to the wrong team, he's a Jet. He's a Jet.
Back up the truck.
Are we seriously signing Jacoby Myers as a wide receiver 3?
Yeah, you have to. With that fucking crazy name, you have to.
All right. How many years are we signing him to?
20.
One year.
1 year. 1 year. 1 year.
Yeah, half a year.
Just give me one moment. I am going to look up his projected value, even though I probably won't get much. I got the all stats right here. And then we'll move on to the draft portion.
Can you sign 2 free agents or no?
Probably you probably can, but they have to be like small contracts.
Harrison Smith from the Vikings.
Interesting. So on this year's market, Jacoby Myers is projected to get about $12.5 million.
Yeah, that's fine.
You sure? You need $9 million to sign your draft class.
All right, take him off and see what Harrison Smith was because we need a safety badly.
I was actually going to suggest Alex's favorite, Julian Love.
Okay.
Now, let's sign him, Julian Love. I know Alex is going to hate me, but a lot of Giant. This is true. Ask Alex. A lot of Giant fan conversation. Who would you rather keep, Julian Love or Xavier McKinney? And Alex, what a lot of people say.
Well, a lot of people say McKinney, but that's not necessarily confirmed.
I'm going to go 3 years, 18 million. No.
Whoa.
How much, Alex? How much does you think he would garner per year?
+7+ million, probably between 7 and 15 million is an overpay.
All right, so market value is about $8 million. So we're going to take that route. Julian Love will be a New York Jet against my brother's wishes. 3 years.
No, this wouldn't have been an issue if y'all just kept Jason Pinnock.
Well, we also have 2 guys that I think play very hard is Tony Adams and Will Parks. So I think
Will Parks.
Yeah, Will Parks is a player, man. So and I think why not put Justin Hardy back there?
Yeah, that's true. Justin Hardy's more of a special teams guy, but still. So
yeah, but I mean, it can't be any worse than Joyner.
That's true.
No,
now, any more free agents? We have $3 million about or 2. So it have to be like a fringe player.
You can sign a punter.
That's right. We need a punter.
Oh,
Thomas Morstead.
Why don't we bring him back? Because we
Yeah,
fucking he was actually good for like the small amount of time we had him for. Let's right that wrong.
We can do 1 year. I'm gonna do 1.8 million. I think he'll come back. All right, we are at about $11 million. I think we are good for free agency. So we're going to leave this here. Got all our cap numbers. We're going to move on to the draft portion. We're going to try to speed this up. So no draft picks have been traded. We are the New York Jets. We enter the draft. Let's start it. At pick 13, what are you guys thinking?
The first thing we need to address. We need an offensive lineman.
Yes.
The offensive line is too weak.
We said we're not signing McGovern, right? So we're gonna have to probably take a center, I would imagine.
I think you get that in the second round.
We need a center, and we also need a tackle for sure. I would rather get a tackle just because who's available? Who's
Anton Harrison. Broderick Jones is also available, who I've seen people pick at 13.
What about the dude from Florida? Osiris Torrance.
Osiris Torrance is also available. I mean, Alex, is it much of a stretch to draft him at 13?
I don't know.
I like the guy Jones. He comes from a winning culture at Georgia, but I've heard he's very strong in the run game, which we should be a run first team if we do get a guy like Jackson, not to mention Brees Hall.
Now, if we're drafting on that
Yeah.
day one at 13, I'm going to be fucking disappointed, guys. That means we don't have Lamar Jackson.
Right.
I'm going to be pissed off, man,
Right.
that
True.
we still don't have a quarterback.
That's true.
All right.
You know,
So,
dude, give him the first two. Honestly, we'll give him like 3 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, everything.
Nope.
Give him the whole draft
I'm
class.
giving up the whole draft. We have 6 picks. Here's your 6 picks. You got a double draft, Ravens. Thank
the
you.
whole Mike Ditka shit.
That's
you know,
it.
when he went to go get Ricky Williams, the whole draft class.
unless somehow Lamar escapes the Ravens and then signs with the Jets for what we did, the $45 million over 5 years. So 13, I think we're going to take a lineman. I'm going to go Broderick Jones here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I go with the lineman.
Surprised you wouldn't trade down, Luca.
No, we don't need any more assets.
It just sounds like Luca talking to himself. Fucking great. Just trade down, Luca. Okay.
Anyways, round 2, is this where we're going to address our center need?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
So
so
George is pretty good if he's there.
John Michael Schmitz is available, and so is Cooper Beebe. But Schmitz is the ideal pick here.
I'd go with BB just because he's got a cool name.
I'll go with Schmidt.
But does Cooper Beebe actually play center?
Cooper BB. We got to take Cooper BB.
We got him.
Fucking great name.
BB pulls right.
Yeah. All these hog mollies do the same shit anyway. Who cares?
All right, I guess we're going to draft Cooper Beebe.
We can play Herbig at center if anything.
I'm buying that jersey.
Wait a minute. Is he related to Don Beebe?
Is
The
he?
wide receiver of the Bills?
Well, Chad Beebe is.
Chad Beebe.
Chad BB.
What is this, round 3 now?
This
we
is round 3.
3.
We need a
definitely
safety and some
need
linebackers.
some linebackers.
All right.
Because we only have Quan as a starter.
This guy I like, the Marvian Overshone, he knows how to cover tight ends. And when is the last time the Jets know how to cover tight end?
Hingle McCringleberry. I'll take.
Yes, I'll go with him.
I'm taking all dudes with fucked up names.
Yeah, I'm getting him.
All right. So
Go
we're
one
gonna
of Krispy Kremes.
All right, got 4 more picks left somehow. This is going to be pick in the 4th round. We doing safety here?
Oh yeah. Wait till you hear these names.
All right, let's see. Quindell Johnson.
Quindell Johnson.
There's the answer.
That's
That's-
it.
Quindell Johnson.
Yeah,
All right,
a.k.a.
so-
my Johnson.
Wait,
Who
who's
do
the
you
other
think-
guy?
wait.
Calamari Kana? What's his name?
Shamari Connor.
Javarius Owens is also that.
Calamari
You
with
can wait for 144 to pick one of these guys.
That's true. So we already picked linebacker.
Well, we
Wide
need,
guard or a tackle, whatever you didn't take.
We need
Or
a
wide
wide
receiver.
receiver, I guess.
we also need another linebacker.
Yeah, we'll probably draft that in the later rounds. I think we should go Trey Palmer here. We need a wide receiver 3. We didn't sign one in free agency, so we're
Is
gonna do
Marvin Mims related
Marvin
to
Mims.
No. You
We're
stay
not-
away from that last name as
Another.
much as you can. Get the fuck out of here. No,
Lucas,
no
Jared
more of that.
Patterson's there.
that.
if you
Johnson
need
is
another
still
interior.
available. Johnson is still available.
Oh my God, we could draft both safeties.
Yeah, like the other draft.
All right,
Oh,
so
yeah, like Todd Bowles, where we could have gotten Dalvin Cook, but, we had a double dip. We got Adams and what's the other guy?
May.
Oh, my God.
all right, so we're gonna,
Dude, I'm not going to lie on this one. I actually went to that draft. That was one of the best drafts, man, to ever go. If it's ever in Philly again, we got to make it a point, all of us, we go,
what's up,
man.
cuckold?
What up? So much fun.
How are you?
all right, we're gonna take Quindell Johnson.
That's it, pal.
All right, so 2 more picks remaining. Where do we swing here? Quarterback?
No, I never want to see this team ever draft another quarterback again.
Fuck that.
You got linebacker, edge rusher, defensive interior.
Linebacker.
All right. I hear no objections. Oh, this is a bit of a reach here.
Muhammad, what's his name? Muhammad Diabetes? What's his name? What's it? I can't see. How do you pronounce that?
Mahmoud Diabate.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's how you guys pronounce it these days, huh, you youngins? We used to call it the sugar.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's any other positions we could attack. Maybe depth on the offensive line. Let's see what interior. Drake Nugent, Nick Broker, Ricky Stromberg.
Oh, there's Diabate again.
I
Yeah,
get that
Diabate.
motherfucker. He really wants to get drafted. Got him.
All right. So, offensive tackle, not much there. So we're gonna draft. We're gonna go depth here. We're gonna draft Nick Broker, and then we're gonna get our guy.
All right.
Linebacker, Mahmoud Diabate.
Yes.
Oh, I'm getting that jersey.
Oh yeah.
He's got to definitely come on our show.
We take the first Guyanese linebacker.
Guyanese. We got a D for the first.
Jesus Christ!
Look at these names. Look at these names.
We're taking over South Richmond Hill.
Cooper BB.
Mahmoud Diabate.
This is
If this was
Like if you pronounce all of these guys' names, it sounds like you're summoning like a spirit.
Quindell Johnson's awesome.
Oh my goodness! So we've acquired these guys in the draft. We have also, in free agency, we re-signed Sheldon Rankins, Quan Alexander, Nate Herbig, and Nathan Shepard. We've extended Bryce Huff to second round or first round tender. We've signed Lamar Jackson, re-signed Greg Zuerlein, signed Thomas Morstead, and Julian Love. So that does it for the Jets segment. I thought we had a very successful offseason despite the C- draft, but
That's Armin. The only thing that would make Armin's draft a lot better is that if we drafted Ava Devine's son, who plays for USC.
C- draft.
Now, hold on a second. With that draft class, right? Would anyone object to trading all of that, all what we just saw, for Lamar Jackson?
Right.
No, would not object.
Exactly.
I'm like, just do it. Do it already.
Whether it's Jackson, Carr, like whoever the fuck they get, like
We're gonna refer to Derek Carr as the vehicle on our show.
the vehicle.
Get me the vehicle.
yes, and what was it? There's people out there that I know. Somebody on Twitter was out yesterday saying, Carr can't play on the East Coast. He can't play in the cold. Lamar Jackson's unrealistic. Aaron Rodgers is old. Naming all these different guys and their flaws. There's no perfect quarterback.
See?
There's a lot of people. There's people probably out there wanting. there's probably out there people wanting Cooper Rush, Gardner Minshew, Ryan Tannehill, and I absolutely say no. So,
Cooper Rush plays hard though.
He plays hard. He's a football guy.
He's good in Madden too.
Just like Bryce Petty was.
Bryce Petty. That was a shame though. They should have gave both Hackenberg 8 games and Bryce Petty 8 games. And see what you had.
I got his jersey, right? Bryce Petty.
Oh my God.
God.
Yeah, I got it off an auction.
Yep, that's in the graveyard.
Yep. I got my jersey history with the Jets is kind of terrible. First, I started off in 2009 with the Mark Sanchez jersey. Then it was Brandon Marshall, who was good in the first year, sucked in the second year. Then it was Jamal Adams, Sam Darnold, who else? I have Quinn Williams right now. I also have Sauce right now. And I also have Nick Mangold. So I've had a bad history with jerseys. So
you want a Zach Wilson? It's a real one. $300 one.
You have a Zach Wilson t-shirt, Luca.
Yeah, I have a t-shirt. That's it.
Yeah, we got to rip the nameplate off and just put Milson. Now, the other option you can do is you can go after Aaron Rodgers, and you can, because we can't hire a quarterback coach, you can go after Aaron Rodgers, sign him for 2 years, go all in, and you can have
his idol. Interesting. So
I mean, that is a
Yeah, why
possibility.
not?
I
You
mean,
can't hire a coach. You
with-
can't. Yeah, you can't hire a quarterback coach. Why not?
yeah, I mean,
You know, Luca, if Davis Webb retires, he could actually
Don't.
become a coach.
no
Dead
Davis
serious.
Webb.
He was considering it.
Sucked in his time with the Jets.
Doesn't mean he won't be a good quarterback coach, though.
Who's this?
I mean,
Davis Webb.
Davis Webb.
Oh my God!
No, I'd rather have Patrick Ewing as a quarterback coach. Done. No, no more.
Oh, I think my phone's gonna die in a minute.
Yeah, mine's like at 0.5%.
Luca, you want to start throwing around final thoughts?
final thoughts. I'm going to go to Dan, Joe, John, Alex, and then myself.
If I get cut off, I love you guys, and thanks for having me on.
No
Oh,
problem.
so Joe, you go first then, man.
No, it's fine. You go.
Final thoughts. Dude, we got to do what we got to do as the Jets organization. We got to turn this shit around, swing for the fences, and follow what the Giants have been doing. Follow that blueprint. Like stop. Like Woody Johnson should stop getting jealous of the Giants and follow their protocol. Follow what it is to win. Was it 4? You guys have what? 4 Super Bowls or 5?
Yeah. 4.
Well, you're gonna get the 5th one in less than freaking 40 days. So you're gonna get this one. I'm telling you. Dude. You think I'm joking? I shit you not. It just
I hope
seems
so.
like this. Forget about hope. Enjoy the ride, man. Enjoy this shit, dude. There was no way that the Giants were gonna win in 07. No way. Then they beat the Jets. They fucking did it. Same thing happened with Eli's second go about with Rex. Oh, this is our city. Dude, final point here. Jets have to follow the Giants protocol. Get rid of Saleh. Get yourself a good coach, solid quarterback, good coaching staff. That's it for me.
Joe.
Get a franchise quarterback. I don't care what it takes. That's it. That's all it is. I can cut the rest of the team. Get me the quarterback. No one on this team is worth keeping if you can't get a quarterback. If we settle for a Tannehill or another fucking bum like that, all of these players that we love are gone. And all those jerseys that you bought are worthless. You got to get a franchise quarterback because it's time for this team to be attractive again.
So one quick comment before I go to John. The Texans will beat the Jets in 2023. I'm calling it now.
Oh, fuck yeah, they will.
That's not saying much.
Right.
So will the other 16 teams.
100%.
We're going to tank next year. We're going to tank for Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. Not that, like, I'd rather go for C.J. Stroud this year. If that's who we're getting, another USC quarterback, but it's the Jets thing. It's the Jets thing. If you failed at the 2 first USC quarterbacks, why stop there?
3 times a charm.
Yeah, no.
309th time.
Right.
We have A+ scouting. A+. We drafted a quarterback on 1 pro day throw. That's how stupid we are. Wow, what a throw. Oh, God, you're the guy. What a joke.
John.
He threw it to what was it? He threw it to Uzama like that. And then that's the end of it.
Yep. And that was it. Another stone hands tight end that we have. We're paying 2 tight ends that can't catch for shit. Fucking embarrassment. Let the Long Island boy play. Jeremy Ruckett is you see him nailing people in the Miami game? Let the boy cook. He's the best tight end on this team. We're paying $20 million for stone hands.
Oh no, they got the onside kick.
3 no way.
Game, we got the onside kick.
Yeah.
What?
Here.
Shit.
Yeah, it's like the 2-minute warning.
It's going to be Tampa Bay, Jacksonville for the Super Bowl. Battle of Florida.
Luca.
John.
Great show tonight. Thanks, Dan and Joe, for joining.
Thank you.
Yes, anyone that saw the beginning, I did make that new intro vid scene. So Happy to be part of that. And also, let's go Rangers. Another win tonight. They are on fire ever since the epic Jacob Trouba helmet throw, which I'm so proud of, that they've turned their season around and are battling for the top spot. And you know what? I got my hockey, I got my basketball, and I will not be paying attention to the Jets until they do something well worth it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Alex.
Yeah, I mean, great first show of the year. I'm surprised Luca's still wearing his Jets hat, by the way, as well as But anyway, it was great having these two guys on. A lot of entertainment, a lot of fun. Talked our first playoff victory in 12 years.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. Obviously, the Jet fans are jealous, but I don't have any dislike for the Jets.
No jealous. It's expected.
All right. That's another way to say it as well. But glad to be back on here. Regular schedule. Let's kick some Eagles ass next week.
I was also going to say, Alex, you doing Dead Red Thursday?
Yeah.
Friday will also be the return of the Friday Knicks podcast with me and Donald, so I'm hyped up for that.
Jeez,
and we'll also
be busy.
Yep, and Wednesday we'll also be streaming the Knicks game. Knicks Wizards, 7:30.
All right, I thought you were going to close it out from there, but that's fine, Luca. Appreciate y'all coming out, like, comment, subscribe to all the good stuff. These guys have a YouTube channel. They also have a Twitter. Put that stuff in the description. Feel free to subscribe and follow them. Call and show Yes Tony will be next Sunday. So a lot of fun on here tonight. Coming back, doing the same old shit. Fun as well. Let's go kick some Eagle ass. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to everybody. And we will see you next time.
Later.